What's going on is Anton from AntonDaniels.com. I appreciate you guys for continuing to rock with me, but I just got home off of an early morning flight, right? First thing through the door, I want to see my family. I love my family. You know, I'm a family man. I'm an advocate for families, right? Second thing, I got to get that hot shower because I got to throw the threads on. The threads make me feel like $1,000,000, but the third thing through my mind and all throughout the trip is that I gotta have that Tej pack. Tej makes my life uncomplicated. It's uncomplicated skincare for men. The first way that I started specifically was their level 1 system. It's a daily face wash to get rid of the dirt and grime on your skin. 2 times per week exfoliating scrub to get rid of the dead skin cells. An AM moisturizer with SPF20 because you should always be protecting your skin from the sun. And a PM moisturizer to help your skin stay hydrated and healthy throughout the night. Here's the thing. My favorite part about Tej Henley is that every box comes with an instruction card that tells you when to use each product, how much to use, and in what order. They really making the process of achieving and maintaining amazing skin for men uncomplicated. In addition to amazing skin, members of Tej Henley get tons of benefits, including at least 20% off the retail price, the ability to customize your box, exclusive monthly deals, you can pause and cancel at any time, and you get free shipping. And because Tej Henley is sponsoring today's video, they're offering my viewers an amazing deal, right? Just click the first link in the description and you get 30% off your first box, plus a free gift. It's an amazing deal. You got to get started today. You're not out here trying to look like a dusty. And if you travel as much as I do, which I'm sure most people don't, but you know me, I'm pushing my bag chasers in order to be in the top 5%, top 10%, top 1%. We got to make our lives uncomplicated, and Tej Henley is no better product. You got to look good. You got to smell good. And you can't be looking like a dusty. Make sure you get started today. Click the link in the description. Get that Tej pack. Feel the Tej, my friends.
What's going on is Anton from AntonDaniels.com. I appreciate you guys for continuing to rock with me. Thank you for tuning in for another edition of the Millionaire Morning Show. As of your time and your day, it is Friday, August 18th, 2023, year of our Lord. This whole trip has given me a different perspective, and I got a whole nother lease on life. I'll tell you about it in a little bit. Let me go ahead and get some of the housekeeping out of the way. Make sure you guys tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. What's going on to all of my friends and family that's tuning in? I can't wait to get back home in order to clean up. Yo, I got a whole head of hair, y'all. I got a whole head of hair. Y'all wouldn't believe it. Let me show you a little bit of it. No, look at that. Look at all of that hair right here. I'm not talking about it. I got a whole head of hair. Shout out to all of my friends and family. Konnichiwa to my dog Kojak in the building. Let me read one of these early super chats to say what up, though. Shout out to Daniel Harris. I appreciate you, big dog. Thank you for holding me down. Thank you for the 5-ball, just coming in and dropping that in the collection plate. You are much, much appreciated. Thank you, my friend. Shout out to all of my friends and family. Let me give y'all a little bit of insight, and then I'm going to do the housekeeping. Well, let's get the housekeeping out of the way. Again, tap into the Patreon. You got to get into that Bag Chasers group in order to see the unfiltered and uncensored interviews. In order to get all of the game, make sure you tap into the Discord that's linked in the description of any of the most recent posts inside of the Patreon. Tap into the Patreon. Also, thank you to Tej Henley, the sponsor of the show. 30% off your first order plus a free gift. That link is in the description. If you have not gotten your Tej Henley, make sure you get your Tej Henley. It is a dope product, and I use it. Yeah, man. It's different. I went to Japan. I got hair. I'm a silver fox now, so messy mathematician probably gonna feel in some type of way about it. It's different over here. I went to a ramen place yesterday that was so good. Oh my God. I'm gonna read this super chat shortly. I went to a ramen place yesterday. It was called Ichiran Shibuya. Ichiran and Shibuya. So I did a little bit of that. That was the best ramen I've ever had in my entire life. By far, I might have to hit that again today. It was so good. As you can see, I did a little bit of shopping. I spent, how much did I spend on this? We was at Versace yesterday, so I did a little bit of shopping. I spent 235,000 yen at Versace yesterday. So that's for one item. That's usually how I shop, which is the equivalent, if I'm not mistaken, to about 1,800 $1,800. So yeah, that's usually how I shop. One item. But we did a lot of shopping yesterday. We bust down some bags yesterday. We spent five figures. Yeah, we spent five figures yesterday. So you know I'm a sucker. You know I'm a sucker for the shiny stuff. You know I'm a sucker for the shiny stuff. You know what I'm saying? Oh, I got something else for you guys too. I don't want to show y'all everything, but I definitely want to show y'all this. This is my latest hoodie. Ooh! They said Anton gonna be in his femininity. Anton gonna be in his femininity. So shout out to all of my people. Um, we did some shopping yesterday, boy. I'm telling you. So that was dope. It was a lot going on. I found my inspiration for my merch line. So I didn't want to drop the merch. I didn't want to drop the merch until I really got it right. You know, I'm never gonna do nothing until I get it all the way correct. And so I can't drop the merch until I get it right. But I found my niche. I found my inspiration. I'm gonna be reading that super chat shortly, and I'm ready. So I got what I needed over here in Japan. I got what I needed over here in Japan. We've already decided that we was gonna be here at least once every 2 to 3 years. I gotta come back at least once a year or once every 2 to 3 years at the latest. I experienced so much yesterday. I was over in Ginza. We was riding the subways. We took no cabs yesterday. So yeah, man. Yeah, man. It was crazy. So let me read some of these super chats and then we're gonna get started with the show. Shout out to Mike, that dude over there on Cash App. I appreciate you. Let me just make sure that I acknowledge everybody. Hold on one second. And then we're gonna get started with the show because we got a full show for y'all today. And I'm gonna give y'all an opportunity to be able to come up here if y'all interested in camming up and asking me any question that you want to ask me. You know, the interesting thing about people is that everybody always say that they got smoke or they got something to say. But no, yeah, shout out to Monica, Jermel Hyde, and Mike, that dude out here in these streets. I appreciate you guys for holding me down on Cash App. New Era Music says, "Hey Anton, question just now got onto your channel this month. Love the show. So I remember watching your show when you stated that you wouldn't get married if you were single. Then would you have kids? No, no. If I was single today after already having my child, I would not go out and get married again and then have another kid. As of right now, based off of what it is that I see in society today, it's a great question. I think that is more detrimental to you financially to have children than it is to get married. Getting married, you can get yourself an ironclad prenup. You can do it the right way. You can make sure that you get separate lawyers. You can take care of that business. What I'm finding now today is that women are leveraging child support, depending on what state that you're in order to substitute for alimony. And so, no, I would not do it. Based off of the way that family court laws are set up today, based off of how I see things is leveraged against men, based off of the amount of money that I make and my trajectory, and the fact that I'm not even close to the amount of money that I'm going to make a year from now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now, 20 years from now. I'm not even going to be at the top of my game then. No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. I have no reason at this point in my life to be looking to rebuild a life with somebody else. It makes no sense. I would just absolutely just chill, live my life, have a good time. I have dick discipline, so I'm not tripping off of that. I don't plan on moving to Houston, so I don't plan on getting any diseases. So no, absolutely not. I would not. I would not do it. And I think that most guys see let me answer it like this, right? Most people don't know what they don't know. But guys that are under duress from their child's mother, if they had to do it again, no way in the world they would have that kid again with this. If they had to go back to the exact same place and have their child, and this is most of the guys that I speak with, they're not going to admit it to you in person. They're not going to say it so that their child then feels a certain type of way about it because they already there. But most guys that I know that I've talked to that are under duress would not go back and have that same child with that same woman if they had to do it all over again. So you rolling the dice. You basically rolling the dice considering how things are set up in the United States today. Um,
Okay, I found this on the web for how.
Come on, Siri. Come on, Siri. Cause I'm streaming on my iPhone, so I use the iPhone for my camera in order to stream to you guys. But no, I would not. I would not get married again. Absolutely not. No way. Um, but shout out to you. That was a phenomenal question. Thank you for the question. T Rex is in the building. Shout out to T Rex. Says I live in Metro Detroit with background and experience in education. Can I come work for you? In what capacity? How would you be looking to add value into the company? I'm not sure what that means. I don't know what a background and experience in education would entail. So, I mean, you can email me at antondaniels413 at gmail.com and I'll try to filter through it. But I appreciate the super chat and thank you, my friend. And where is Metro Detroit? I don't understand what part of it because that means that you're not actually in the city and that you're somewhere in the suburbs around Detroit. I'm curious about that. William, shout out to William. William says, "Man, go into breakfast. Man, go in on the Breakfast Club. They toe up." I haven't seen it yet. I seen people send it to me, so I'm looking to review it. Latrell, shout out to Latrell. Said, "Blessings, fam. Blessings to you, Black. You back. God bless you, my friend. Thank you, thank you, thank you." All right. Well, let's get straight into the show. Let's get into the show. All right. So I'm gonna be sharing my different experiences, and again, I'm gonna allow for you guys to be able to come up on the platform towards the end of the show to be able to ask me any question that you want to ask me. You're gonna have to cam up. Actually, you don't have to cam up. So whether you want to cam up or you don't want to cam up, that's up to you. New Era of Music says, "I meant if you were in your 20s like me." Well, it's hard for me to say that, right? Um, I think that it's a difference between being successfully married and being married, right? If you're looking to have kids, then I would not have kids out of wedlock. Under no circumstances would I have kids out of wedlock. Absolutely not. The other side of that conversation, though, is what are you looking to get out of it, and do you actually think that it's true value in it? For me, I was very intentional. I decided to have one child, and I decided to put everything I could into that child. So if I'm looking to have a child, yes, I would get married, but then you'd have to vet effectively the woman that you're choosing to marry, right? So don't marry a woman that has debt. Don't marry a woman that has had multiple partners. Don't marry a woman that is under duress. Don't marry a woman based off of love. Look at everything from a business perspective, understanding that the love come with it. And it's a lot of different lessons that come along with it. Send me an email, antondaniels413 at gmail.com. Or send me something inside of the Patreon. I'm more likely to answer that first. Shout out to P. Shank says, "Good morning, Anton. Good morning to you too. I appreciate you." Let's get into the show. I'm gonna be reading super chats throughout the show. No fumble on a Friday. Do not be out here tricking off and messing up the bag. Let's get into it. All right. First order of business is I gotta address this. Somebody sent me a video uh, last night. Actually, it was y'all morning. I'm still 13 hours off. So somebody sent me a video, and it's funny that this video got into my inbox. And usually, I always have a video reference of it or whatever. But the video was so nasty and egregious that I can't even show any reference material. I'm not even interested in showing any reference material, right? Because I don't even want to slip up and put my platform in jeopardy by showing some of the fastest way to get your shit fucked up on YouTube is to slip up, have somebody porn bomb you, or you show something that you're not supposed to show as far as like people doing something sexual. So I'm not even gonna entertain it, right? Shout out to Miss Crow T. Shetty. I'm going to be reading that super chat shortly. But if you guys are not familiar, there's this thing called Mocha Fest, and Mocha Fest recently tapped down in Houston. How ironic, right? Because I just had a conversation, and I've done recent shows on here in segments where I highlighted that Houston is the new Atlanta, and then more importantly, Houston is ground zero for the fastest growing STI and STD rate among black women. Let me say that one more time. Houston is ground zero for the fastest growing STI and STDs amongst women of, they say women of color, I'm gonna just say black women. All right. And it's funny because then I get this inside of my inbox, and it's called Mocha Fest, right? Now, Mocha Fest is just what it says. It's a festival that travels all across the whatever, across the globe, holding these festivals, including one in Houston, right? And I said, okay, well, let me see what Mocha Fest is, because maybe our people are evolving to where they're trying to make something profitable. They're trying to create something that's conducive to the direction that black people are supposed to going. Maybe they're changing the direction of black culture, right? Maybe they're doing something to where they won't get mad at me because it's something that I can highlight and celebrate. Oh, fuck no. First thing that I see is a man getting some head in a crowd, publicly in front of a bunch of people. And then it goes over into another scene where a dude is eating a chick out. Just sitting there, just a random chick. Random different chicks, random dudes, all together, all one big party, at the pool, having a good time, and people just doing whatever it is that they want to do whenever they want to do it. In the social media era. Let me say that again. In the social media era. You cannot tell me that most black people are not cursed. You cannot tell me that as a collective that black people are not cursed. You cannot tell me that every single person that is looking to go there, amongst the debauchery and all of the cameras on social media, let's say, for example, that you young, dumb, full of cum, and you looking to get into something, right? And let's say, for example, you an ignorant little hoe, or you a dude that don't know no better, and they about to give you that clap, right? They about to give you the monster, right? Because you don't know who got what. We know for a fact that it's underreported, but at the same time, at least one out of every three people is walking around with a disease, or at some point has had one. So now you're playing Russian roulette, but now you're playing Russian roulette with a bunch of people whose odds exponentially go up more, because we know that we're amongst a bunch of people who have no problem not having rubbers and eating out people that they've never seen before and being promiscuous, right? And so, since we know this, and we know that Houston is the new Atlanta, and Mocha Fest chose Houston specifically, and we have the data to back up the fact that the majority of women in Houston got that clap, right? If the shoe fits, wear it. If it don't, let it fly over your head. You cannot convince me that as a community, we are not cursed. You can't convince me. You can't convince me that people validate this behavior and they think that this is cool. And then they think that I'm crazy because I've been married for 2 decades, and they saying that I'm the person that's against black people. You can't convince me that the people that don't hold these people accountable, but then at the same time complain about the fact that they can't find a good man, while also being recorded on camera giving head. While a chick is sitting there with her legs in the air, spread wide eagle, and multiple different dudes is dipping and tripping inside of that clap, and you telling me that this makes it. You can't convince me that this is not Sodom and Gomorrah. You can't convince me that this is not the end of times. We not even having these conversations and adding value into your life because we trying to save the community. That ship has sailed a long time ago. Martin Luther King couldn't do it. Malcolm X couldn't do it. Barack Obama came in as y'all savior and champion the alphabet community. Biden ain't doing it. He can't even forgive your student loans. There is nobody and nothing that can save you. The only thing that we can do is reach the 1%. 1% meaning that there's a young one or a small demographic of people or somebody that's evolved to the point to where they actually looking to make a difference and change so that they can get go in a direction that's conducive for their lifestyle. Other than that, this shit is pure entertainment. This shit is just an opportunity for us to point out the thing that we don't want to put ourselves in a position to do. And we want to separate ourselves. Really, that's all it is to it. You're not going to convince me that we can go in and fix the community. It's over. It's over. It's nothing that you can do to save the community. It just is what it is. I don't care what you say. I don't care how you do it. It ain't even separated based off of racial lines. It's people in general. It is a demonic spirit that is running rampant and it's taken over everything. And the only thing that you can do is separate yourself from it, because the minute that you start to expose yourself to it, either you're going to be taken over by it. Hear me out. Listen. I know a lot of y'all don't want to hear this because you say that, oh, Anton shouldn't be the one that have conversations about spirituality or God or whatever. Fuck you. I'm going to say what I want to say because I know what I mean and I mean what I say, and I know who my God is and I know who I pray to every day. The fact of the matter is this. I don't know a person that is a crackhead or an addict in anything that they did that didn't believe that they wasn't going to get addicted or taken over by whatever spirit that they now have to fight off every fucking day. Nobody started off with heroin, crack, alcoholism, gambling addiction, nymphos, sex addiction, prostitution. Nobody in those fields envisioned themselves being completely taken over by the thing that they taken over by now. Nobody thought that they was going to end up on soft white underbelly. The guy that was in jail, he never had dreams of being there. The dude that's wind up gotten that clap, the dude that got STDs, he was not going out there looking for it, right? When you walk down Kensington Street and all of these different videos that I show you every day, none of those people anticipated, they never anticipated it was going to be them. That dude, listen, it's somebody in here right now at 11:18 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. It's somebody that's not going to type in the chat right now, and they are addicted to something. Somebody woke up, and they jerked off this morning, not so that they can clear their head, but because they can't stop doing it. They're addicted. They're taking over. Listen, you go into that site, and it's free for a reason, because it then becomes a gateway and you can't stop going into it. Then you start to evolve to the point to where you start going down this rabbit hole, and the thing that then started to stimulate you before, it no longer do it for you anymore. So now you go over to the next thing, and then it becomes even more debaucherous, and then it becomes even more horrible, and it becomes more like you don't stop at one thing. You chasing. And then eventually you desensitize to it. And so you got to continue to evolve past it. And then it becomes something that you can't control. Next thing you know, you fucked up. You fucked up. Nobody that ever got addicted to anything thought that they was going to get addicted to it. And that's the reason why they tried it. Otherwise, it would have never even interested them in the first place. I don't even expose myself to certain things. I don't masturbate. Can we have a real conversation right now? I do not masturbate. I do not watch porn. I do not put myself in certain positions. When y'all see me show up to certain shows, even when I did shows with other people on that other network and shit like that, you didn't see me at the after party. You seen me cook up. I did what I did. I'm high off life. I'm high off life. I don't smoke. I don't get caught up drinking. I don't do no dumb shit. You don't see me taking no pills. I'm high off life. I need to be clear-headed. I love being in the moment. If I'm with you, I'm with you. I'm trying to experience the best of you. I don't need no psychedelic. I don't need no desensitizing. I don't need something to fuck up my mind. I don't want none of that shit. And the minute that you start, listen, when you expose yourself to the devil, you make yourself open to whatever happens to come come across with it. I know you don't believe in spirits. I know you don't believe in none of this shit. I know you think that you can handle it. I know you listen to all of this shit that hypnotize you all day, and you listening to the music and point out my op and all of this other type of stuff, and you can't figure out why I look weird to you because I'm choosing to do the right thing or I'm advocating for the right thing, and you think you look cool out here looking like a fucking fool. I look weird to you because you the fucking weirdo. This Mocha Fest shit, that's not cool, bro. I don't care what they tell you. I don't care how they telling you. Look, we all got shit that we deal with. Let's be 100% real before we really get into the show. We all got shit that we deal with. We got a mama that get on our nerves. Somebody got a baby mama that's leveraging their kid against them. Somebody got this kind of addiction. This person, whenever they get sad, they start to use food as a vice, and so they can't get over that. Right? This person is dealing with some shit at his job. You the toxic one. This woman is going off on this man. This dude is over here doing this dumb shit. We got enough problems just existing in this bitch. This gonna be somebody that get on your nerves at work, and they gonna try to get you to fuck up your bag, right? This chick is gonna be crying and complaining, even though you went and killed yourself a little bit every day in order to provide, and she gonna be complaining that you ain't spending enough time at home, right? Your kid is gonna be in. Your kid got school coming up. School season is about to start, and I guarantee you, they report card. One of your kids' report card gonna be fucked up, and you taught them everything that they supposed to know. You did the right thing. You held them down. They raised in a 2-parent household, and they still gonna fuck up, and you gonna be asking God, why me? Why me? Right? We all dealing with shit in our lives in real life. It's one thing to just deal with life because it says that it rains on the just and the unjust, which means that stuff is going to happen because that's just life. It's another thing to put yourself in a position to be self-inflicted, to put yourself in front of the gunshot saying that I can dodge it fast enough. I got to deal with enough shit just in general. I'm not about to be out here putting myself in front of the fucking bullet. So now you're going to play Russian roulette. That hoe got that clap. These niggas is recording. You're never going to be able to get that off the internet again. Right? It's enough just dealing with life. And now y'all going to also put yourself in a dumbass position to then fuck up a bag on that side too? Not me. Not me. Not this way. You're going to have to catch me. Right? People have issues and they got stuff that they go through and they got stuff that they working on and all of that other type of shit. But I'll be damned if I put it out there and give it to you to kill me with. Fuck you. Nope. Not today. You gonna have to catch me tomorrow, my nigga. I'm out here trying to run a checkup. We building houses. We trying to build generational wealth. We taking care of business. We putting our daughters and our sons in great schools. We trying to change the trajectory of our lives. And you out here fucking up a bag. And one moment you gonna see it through and you gonna fuck up your whole life. And then we gonna put a title on it. We gonna call it Mocha Fest. Don't include me in that shit. Don't include me in your shit. I don't want to be a part of it. If you got something going on that don't make sense for me, you work on that by yourself. Don't include me with it. I don't want to be a part of your nonsense. I got my own nonsense that I'm trying to deal with. I don't want to be a part of yours too. I'm good. I'm not going to voluntarily put myself in this dumbass position. Niggas out there fucking up the bag. What's wrong with you? And then I'm supposed to be coming out here trying to save and champion the community. Man, fuck your community and fuck you too. Because I ain't got nothing to do with it and I don't want to be a part of none of this trash-ass culture. It's garbage. It's trash. And I'm going to show it to you today. We're going to put it on full display today. Yeah, on a Friday. It's actually Saturday night for me. Or Friday night, about to be Saturday. But we're going to put this shit on full display. Let me read a couple more super chats and then we're going to get into the show. Because this is nonsense. Shout out to Miss Crow T. Shetty with the fireball. I appreciate you. Thank you, Miss Crow T. Shetty. You are absolutely awesome. Also to Sam Saylor. Thank you to Sam Saylor. Says your point that the age of social media should have caused a group of people to act better is valid. No. Nobody even scared. They don't care. These people got jobs. Ain't no telling what the hell is going to happen. They out here getting fired. Credit card debt is out the window. It's crazy out here. Let's get into the show. Before we get into all of the debauchery, right? Let me give you guys an update on what's going on in Hawaii, right? Because I see the play now. I see the play now. And again, I'm going to open up the chat for you guys, or open up the live stream a little bit later for you guys to be able to ask me any question you want to. If you want to cam up, you can. If you don't, then let me know. I see the play now. So I've been paying attention to this whole Hawaii, Maui. Is it Lana? I don't know how to pronounce it. Listen, I'm sorry. I don't pronounce it that well. I've been paying attention to everything that's going on over there because the devil is in the details, right? And one thing that I've learned, whether it's a stock market crash, real estate crisis, wildfire, Kensington Avenue, Mocha Fest, no matter what is happening in society, it's always a play to be made. And so what I see happening is there's a slow response time. People are suffering. They don't even look at Hawaii as a part of it. I'm going to tell you, a lot of these states, a lot of these cities, if I'm a legislator, if I'm the president of the United States, if I'm a Congress member, if I'm a House of Representative, if I'm any of these people, right? I'm looking at my cities and I'm saying, hey, we got to fix that. Or, hey, we got to solve for that. Or, hey, what's going on in Hawaii? We got to respond to that. There's no way that I'm sitting on the beach just tanning, having a good time, trying to sabotage my opponent. I'm not doing any of that. But there's a narrative that's being painted over in Hawaii. Let's talk about it. Make sure you hit a like for the YouTube algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. Let's get into it, y'all.
On top of trying to find shelter and food, some Maui residents have run into another problem: looters.
Somebody said, am I taking questions on anything? You can ask me whatever it is that you want. That's up to y'all. I'm going to drop the link in the chat afterwards.
Lahaina say many have been robbed left and right for supplies like food and clothing, and they blame it on a lack of resources coming into Lahaina. KITV4 Shanila Kabir spoke to those affected by this crime, and she joins us live. Shanila?
Paul, Diane, this is a desperate time for everyone affected. People are desperate to find loved ones and desperate for necessities. An Oregon resident called KITV4 today and said her family member was robbed at gunpoint when he flew in trying to donate supplies. And I spoke to a man whose business wasn't burned down, but is now facing this problem.
Coconut Caboose is one of the very few buildings that has survived the fires on Front Street in Lahaina. It's a restaurant and food truck business. Owner Jeremy Agano says he lost his home and barely made it out alive, but he is thankful at least his business remains standing. Agano says it's, quote, utter chaos for everyone right now, trying to find water, food, shelter, and to make matters worse, Agano says looters have attacked his business. Coconut Caboose now has an active GoFundMe. Barrett Procell says he lost everything to the fire. He and his wife are now homeless and wearing donated clothes. Procell wants people to know looters right now are not the enemies. They're in survival mode.
No. Listen, under no circumstance, I don't care what happens. I don't care what's going on. Under no circumstance do you sacrifice your moral compass for and use that as an excuse in order to do the wrong thing. Under no circumstance. I don't care what's going on. I don't care what's happening. Under no circumstance do we validate bad behavior. Do we validate robbing somebody else? Do we show compassion for bad behavior? You have to nip that shit in the bud, because what I found is that A, either when you under duress, or B, when you make a lot of money, on both ends of the spectrum, you start to find out who people really are. If you don't have anything, you start to find out who people really are. If you get everything, then you get to find out who people really are. But when you're in the middle, that's when everybody is pretending like they all cool with you. When you see everything is devastated, you start to see the nature of who people are. When you start to get a whole bunch of something, then you get to see the nature of who people really are. When you are in the middle, when everybody is just floating, as long as they got a middle class that's being pretended like it's a real thing, everybody is going to pretend like they cool with each other. But under no circumstance do we validate bad behavior: stealing, robbing, killing, raping, looting, Anything that takes away from somebody else's humanity, we do not validate it. Listen, I don't even agree with certain people's lifestyle. I absolutely positively disagree with the alphabet community, but under no circumstance do I ever believe in taking away their humanity. I don't believe in fucking up somebody else's bag. I don't believe in taking away their humanity and their rights. And I certainly don't believe in censoring people, because I believe that everybody should be able to contribute into the conversation, so you can, as an individual, determine what you don't and what you do want to hear, and what it is that you can take from it and what you don't take from it. Right? Some of the people that I've disliked the most has been phenomenal employees that's worked for me. Not personally for me, but in corporate America. No way in the world that I'm ever going to deny them or say that they are not great employees or not give them a great review, because I don't necessarily care for what it is that they do in their private time and their lifestyle. Has nothing to do with me. Nothing to do with me whatsoever. And so I don't validate this shit. And neither should you. Y'all need to stop excusing bad behavior, because it's a gateway and it's a Pandora's box that's open to then getting them to allow them to do some shit that's really egregious.
He asks officials to focus on reopening the roads to bring in supplies.
If your children are starving, the government's not showing up for you, the police won't let people with resources in. I think days and days. I think desperate times creates desperate measures. I definitely don't want to take up for the looters in any means. You know, it's a terrible thing to take advantage of this type of a situation, but you know, people are desperate right now.
Procell also said some restaurants are charging $20 cash for a plate of food. And right now, most people don't have cash or access to accounts. Procell says that's also contributing to the number of burglaries.
If you were one of the lucky ones to have a little bit of money in your purse, and you were like most of the world who uses their card for all their purchases, and nothing.
And no warning.
Nothing.
And no warning.
And no warning.
Well, we
can do better, Maui.
We had a jar of peanut butter, 2 cans of cream of mushroom soup, and we ran. That's all we had.
That's all we had for days.
So let me share with you what the real play is, right? I want to show you something else, because things is like a third world country over there, and I've watched countless videos and I've done a lot of research about what the state of what's happening over in Lahaina and Maui and the wildfires and how it started. Allegedly it started, and they showed it on camera, a power line that went down that then sparked the fire that then created this environment where the alarms didn't get turned on and all of this other type of stuff, right? So I've been doing a lot of research, right? But I always try to figure out where it comes back down to the money, because this is the Millionaire Morning Show. Well, let's talk about it.
I think right now we just need the prayers, and we need the money to rebuild our town. This is going to be a long road ahead of us, and we're just trying to fundraise and make sure that the displaced families can go back home one day. There's a lot of real estate speculation happening right now that is really frustrating, and I just want to remind all you real estate investors around the world, like Lahaina is not for sale. Please don't reach out to these families and take advantage of them during the most devastating time of our lives.
That's the play. That's the play. Wholesalers, real estate developers, rich people, people that have resources, cash rich, so on and so forth, they are making a play for real estate on these islands. That is the move. That is the finesse. People are out of it. A lot of people didn't even have homeowners insurance. People don't have any place to go. They desperate. And the quickest way to be able to take advantage of people is when they don't have anything. That's why poor people are so vulnerable. That's why you have check cash in places in the hood where you can charge egregious interest rates, right? Whenever you see there's fire, or when there's smoke, there's fire. And so every single time that you see this happening, listen, I don't care if we talking about a fucking wildfire that's happening over there. I don't care if we talking about a family court and a woman breaking up with her man. I don't care if we talking about people and which jobs that they get and how often that they leave. It almost always, 98, 99% of the time, it comes back down to the money. And she's saying that it's not for sale, and I'm telling you that it is for sale. It is for sale. It is 100% for sale. That entire fucking island is for sale. It is for sale. And all of you have a price. Yep, it's for sale. The island is for sale. If a woman get desperate enough, her legs is for sale, right? She'll settle and she'll sell her body. She'll do whatever it takes in order to survive. Listen, everything is for sale, and that's what y'all don't understand. This is the thing that rich people understand, that people that live in this euphoric mindset that everything can be kumbaya and all of that don't understand. This is the thing that people with resources understand, that people that live in this fantasy island. Here, I give it to you this way. This is the thing that rich people understand that blackity blacks don't understand. When I look at what's happening over in fucking San Francisco, when I see what's happening in Philadelphia, let me tell you the play that happened in Detroit, right? And then we're going to go back to the video. This is what happened in Detroit. Detroit, for all intents and purposes, what people don't understand is becoming a fucking oasis. That's why I never left. That was the fucking play. That's how I increased my net worth in a lot of instances so quickly, because they were so devastated by what happened in the auto industry. And it's happening all across America. If you go to downtown Detroit, go to Midtown where my office is, go to Corktown, go to Mexican Town, any of the places that is now spreading out. If you go to the Riverwalk, it's literally been rated as the best Riverwalk in the United States of America. You know when it started to come into fruition? You know who actually started that? You know who started the play to actually rebuild the Riverwalk? Kwame Kilpatrick. He gets no credit for it though. And it started way back when he was in office, in which they then trumped up the charges and then made sure that he was convicted over some box. Now, that doesn't mean that he was right, but I'm just telling you what the facts are. And so what happened was the play in both Cleveland and Detroit, and if you go to either city, especially Detroit, is starting to become a fucking oasis. They're building one of the biggest buildings in Detroit in the Hudson's building right now. Prime real estate. Dan Gilbert came in there and increased his net worth. He was already a billionaire. Owner of the Cavaliers, Rocket Mortgage, so on and so forth. He was already a billionaire. He came in and he bought up every fucking thing. Now, to Dan Gilbert's credit, he was not a slumlord. He just came in and he started building things and he moved all his employees down there anyway. But I'll give you an example. Little Caesars Arena, owned by the Ilitch family, Ilitch companies. They own Little Caesars Pizza. They own the Detroit Tigers, Detroit Red Wings. They've been buying up property in the city for decades. The Maroons, for example. Matty Maroon was the father that owned the Ambassador Bridge, which is largely one of the biggest pathway for you to be able to operate as far as between Canada and the United States. They've been owning and buying property for literally decades. Eventually, they sold the Michigan Train Depot, which they never did anything with, for literally decades, over to Ford Motor Company for almost $1 billion. The way that they built Little Caesars Arena was that they was buying up all of the land around Little Caesars Arena, and that they built Little Caesars around. And then eventually they got the tax breaks that allowed for them to really be able to make all of the investments, and then created an environment where the Detroit Pistons moved from Auburn Hills back into the city. Now you got all four cities. The Detroit Lions moved from the Pontiac Silverdome back into the city. All four teams are situated within a 1 mile radius from each other now. And it's a fucking oasis down there. And it's starting to spread out. There's always a play for the money when you see something that is being distressed, burned down, or an opportunity for then people to come in, swoop in, and then take advantage of it. The problem with you is that you don't have the mindset to look at what the opportunity cost is, and we so focused on the thing that's right in front of us instead of focusing on the long-term play. The long-term play. And a lot of people don't get it. A lot of people don't get it. They really don't get it. So when she says it's not for sale, oh, it's definitely for sale.
You know, we just heard from our reporter and from a couple of women who say that they were upset about what tourists were doing. Now you're telling me that there are real estate investors reaching out to people about their property. What's going on exactly?
Yes, homeowners have been reached out by investors and realtors offering to buy their land. And this is disgusting. And we just want to make sure that people around the world understand our situation and know that Lahaina is not for sale. It is.
Listen, baby, you cute, but you ain't gonna stand in the way of that bag, and it's absolutely for sale.
Important that the multi-generational families that come from Lahaina get to continue to live in our hometown.
Let me ask you about Hawaii officials and the government. I know that the alarm system failed. They didn't go off. The text message system failed because cell service was bad. Are you hopeful that they will intervene and protect Lahaina as a place for locals and tourists, but a place for locals instead of real estate investors looking to rebuild it differently than what it was?
Yes.
Let me tell you something. It's funny that we're having this conversation because in 2019, I did a lot of research on the different islands in Hawaii. Now, why would Anton do any research on the islands in Hawaii? Well, I was trying to understand what the real estate market was across the entire United States of America. But B, I was looking to understand exactly where it is that I wanted to stay during the pandemic because I was looking for the warmest place and the most open place possible. I came upon 3 different destinations: San Diego, Miami, and Hawaii. Hawaii was voted the best because the weather. The weather is largely the best during the wintertime. And so I was like, So I looked at Hawaii. It was very, very warm. It was nice, but it was a very, very restrictive place that you couldn't get into, and you had to go through all of these different protocols in order to fly into Hawaii. The flights was longer, the weather was better, and it was just more expensive overall, right? So we wound up settling on Miami because I didn't want to go over to San Diego. California was 100% restrictive, so we wound up going to Miami. We spent like 4 months living in Miami during the 2019 not 2019. I quit my job in 2019, retired, got out of the restaurant business. And in 2020, during the pandemic, when it started, that winter, 2021, we wound up moving down to Miami for like 4 months, fell in love with it, so on and so forth, right? But what I realized was that Hawaii is like this, it was expensive. However, it was like one of the most beautiful, awesome, greatest tourist destination type of places that largely is like an untapped resource because it wasn't super developed. It wasn't something that people really capitalized off of. It was something that people took a lot of pride in as far as from the locals valuing what the culture was still in Hawaii. Seeing this type of shit and now seeing this for sale, if you don't think that real estate developers and people that have money is going to jump on this and taking advantage of it, you are absolutely out of control. They have already, before the fire stopped smoldering, they ain't even rescued and found all of the remains of the people that's missing. They have already started making propositions on this land. Absolutely.
We need to work as a community to ensure that we have a seat at the table on how our town is rebuilt and what that looks like. And it's important that we make sure that the cultural history of Lahaina, the integrity of Lahaina is protected, especially for Native Hawaiian families from Lahaina. We, as a Native Hawaiian community, we've already been displaced so much. You know, the cost of living in Hawaii is so high. Your median house goes for $1 million. So, you know, already dealing with that and having an affordable housing crisis, and now this just really scares me and concerns me that there'll be more Native Hawaiian displacement happening on our among our community.
That is.
Yeah, because it's you think it's a culture war. It's a class war, and everybody ain't figured it out yet. And nobody has figured out that this is a class war. It's 100% a class war. It has nothing to do with race, has nothing to do with your local economy. They don't give a fuck about your historical reference. This is 1,000% a class war. And now the Maui and Lahaina is fucking for sale, and it's going to be a fire sale, and everybody that can will, and people that could would. All right.
So hard. Can I ask you how your cousin is doing? How Dustin is doing?
He's okay. You know, we're just comforting each other at this time. Everyone's living with me. I have a 3-bedroom home. I have 2 families living with me, but you know, through it all, we are enjoying each other's time right now and just being there for each other, and that's what matters most.
So the play, if you guys are not seeing this, and you know me, I'm gonna come back 3, 4, 5 years from now, when we still on the Millionaire Morning Show, right? We're gonna be doing this in front of a live studio audience, and I'm gonna revisit this moment, and I'm gonna say, I told you so. Remember when I was in Tokyo doing my show and I was telling you what was going to happen, and I'm selling. I'm not Nostradamus. I just understand the nature of people. And so when I pay attention to things and I look at the historical reference of how things has gone, it's easy to be able to predict. It's very easy to be able to predict. It's funny because even in my own city in Detroit, right? White flight happened. Black people tore it up. White people came, moved back then, bought all of the fucking land, running that shit back up, and now black people want to come and be reactive and move back into the city. It's crazy, man. It's absolutely crazy. Let me read some of these super chats, and then we're going to continue on with the show. Because I do want to get through this stuff, and then I want to open this up for you guys to be able to tap in and ask me whatever questions that you want to ask and get it off your chest, even if you got smoke. Low Black Duck 2001 says, Konbanwa. Anton, bro, the sirens didn't fail. They just didn't turn them on. The Illuminati is making a play. I don't believe in the Illuminati. I'm going to be honest with you, Little Black Duck. I don't believe in the Illuminati. I just believe that there's a group of people. Well, let me stop that. I don't believe in the Illuminati. All right. Bearded Dapper Services is in the building. Shout out to Beard Dapper Services with the fireball. I appreciate you. T-Rex says, have you read Atlas Shrugged? If so, what are your thoughts? That book is so fucking thick. That is one of the thickest books that I've ever seen in my life. Isn't that the one where the dude is holding the globe on top of on his back or whatever like that? Let me see. I think I might have read it in college. Let me look that up. Shrugged. Atlas Shrugged. If I'm not mistaken, I think that from Ayn Rand. Ayn Rand. Yep, that's the one. It's like a statue and he holding the thing on his back. Yeah, I think I might have read it in college. I don't know, man. I don't think anything. I got y'all want me to get into my conspiracy theory bag. This is what Atlas Shrugged looked like. All right. Y'all want me to get into my conspiracy theory bag. A lot of people don't know that I'm pretty well versed on most things. I know a little bit of some about everything, it seems like, right? I can get into that. If you want to ask me that question, we can get into it at the end of the show. Brock says they're building a 27-mile green strip in Detroit. They are. And they've acquired more riverfront, and they're continuing to build up a riverfront. People have no idea. But most of the time, by the time that the rest of the people figure it out, it's already too late. And then they want to play Me Too and play catch up, and they want to say that somebody gentrified it. It's already going to be too late. Shout out to Brock. My dog, Tyrone. Hold on. Shout out to Tyrone with the 50 ball. Says, keep dropping facts. No chaser, because I am a bag chaser. Make sure y'all tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. I appreciate you, T. Shout out to T-Dub in the building, dropping that 50 ball off. I appreciate you, big dog. Thank you, man. I done grew my hair back out. All kind of junk, man. It's crazy over here in Tokyo. Got me living like a nomad. Big Podcast says, one of the most valuable content creators out. The budgeting video on the Patreon then got me together. Shout out to my bag chasers. Making sure that you're not just watching the interviews that's uncensored inside of the Patreon, but also getting to that bag. Shout out to you. I appreciate the Big Podcast. Make sure you hit a like for the YouTube algorithm, subscribe to the channel, turn on your notifications. Before we get into Larry Elder, apparently Dame Dash went off on a podcast host. Y'all sent this to me. I said, all right, let me check it out. Let's see what it is. Let's see what we got going on. Silhouette, I will be reading that super chat shortly. Make sure you hit a like for the YouTube algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. Let me see what the hell is going on here. My Dame going on.
You know, that's the thing. It's like, regardless, you know me. I laugh a lot. I smoke a lot. You know, I'm creative, but at the end of the day,
I think a lot of people will vote for you, Dane.
but I don't want to have to be beholden to a schedule and like he was discussing today. I was talking to my daughter about certain things in business, and like, did they realize that there's a? Did they realize?
What the fuck is up with this green screen in the background? What kind of podcast is this that got a green screen in the background? That green screen is wild. Listen, I know everybody got their style, and I love the originality and shit, but that going flipping back and forth with the green screen in the background, that's some wild shit, yo.
I'm like, do you realize I just picked? Because I went and picked him up from the airport.
Okay.
It's cool. What's up, buddy? My man Keenan just walked in the house. A lot of power players in the building. My cousin is still here too?
Yeah, yeah, they're in the conference room. Hey, what's up, dog?
He's another piece to the puzzle.
Let me fast forward a little
They
bit.
seen me on the floor because they needed to know if it was a group that really wanted to see that law change, organize, collectively come together and start talking about why that law is bad for your community. Then you start getting the ear of the media, you start getting the ear and the attention of people, the community members. Now the elected officials are like, okay, and this group is getting powerful. This group is getting strong. Their voice is getting stronger. We got to watch.
I agree, Randy. It do look like a fucking game show. I don't know where they got that background from. You could have Googled a better background than that. I don't know what the hell is happening right now.
Out for them because now they're going to start coming down to our office. That's where accountability comes into play. If you don't hold elected officials accountable, then they're likely to do whatever and not be as responsive to the people's needs.
I don't think it has anything to do with the elected officials. Before we get to a part, I guess, where Dame is going off on a host or whatever, I don't think that it has anything to do with elected officials. I think that elected officials are just a reflection of the people that got them in office. Whenever I see people blame politicians only, but they don't also hold their own selves accountable, two things can be true at the same time. The politician is a reflection of the people. The people are the ones that are. It's almost like a person blaming a principal or they blame the teachers, but they don't hold the parents accountable for taking care of the kids. But that's what the problem that I have when people keep criticizing the I Promise school. It's not the I Promise school that's the problem. It's the parents that only read at a first grade level, but then they trying to tell their kids that's in the 8th grade on how it is that they can take a state test. You can't even help your kids. Your kids are not even behaved enough for the teacher to be able to teach them effectively. And so it's always a root cause. Even if you want to hold somebody that's an elected official accountable, which is one of the reasons why I would never run for office. First of all, I don't believe that I would ever win. Secondly, I think that it's a dead end. But let me see what they're about to say.
If they don't feel like you're going to hold them accountable.
You don't think that's crazy? That we got to like force our council people to work? That's kind of crazy.
Well,
like
these people make what, $80,000 a year or some shit? What do you mean force them to work? What are they supposed to do? I don't understand what he's saying.
We gotta stay on your head to want to do good for the city. That's wild.
Well, that's because
you're not forcing them to work. You're forcing them to make it.
This fucking green screen is wild. I'm gonna try to pay attention to it, but you know me. I don't think that I got ADD. I don't believe in all that junk, but my attention span is short when I don't. The visual don't match up with the audio. Is wild. But let's continue.
A decision that's going to impact your life, and you got to remember, if I got to vote on an issue that's going to impact your life, and the buttons pop up yes or no.
So.
But I already know you're going to vote based on Republican and Democrat.
No, you don't. But listen.
What do you mean? Yes, I do. He can't vote against his party.
You can't.
You don't know what you're doing behind those doors. But look, check it. Don't get off the subject, right? Listen. Hold on.
We're talking politics, baby. This is what I don't like about the politics.
But you're not letting me talk.
Listen.
So let me just finish something. So here's an example. What he to me was saying that if you bring awareness to something that they don't know about and they do know about it, they become accountable and they have to do it. So the other day I went to a jail with the kids in Chicago. And every time it really stresses me out because I don't like what I see. So I was talking to Eddie about it and he said, you know what? Someone that's related.
Hey, somebody in the chat, baked on be gone. Somebody in the chat, permanently banned baked on be gone. Somebody banned baked on be gone. I pay attention to the chat. I interact with the chat. We will not have anybody that's telling me what it is that I'm supposed to do on my own channel. Ban that motherfucker. Get him up out of here. He had to subscribe just to say some dumb shit like that. Moderators, get baked on, be gone the fuck up out of here.
To me as a senator. So I called that senator and I started to tell that person what exactly was going on at the jail that I went to, a children's jail. And she said, what's the address? And I told her the address. She said, yo, that's my district. I just gave them a bunch of bread. Let me check that out. She did not know all those things were going on. So I just think what he's saying is that if you bring awareness, that brings accountability. That's all he's saying.
Oh, I understood what you were saying.
Yeah, but you were talking about voting. Wait, but I'm saying is it's not about voting for a person. It's about lobbying for a law.
Dame is absolutely correct. Dame is absolutely correct. A lot of times people are not even aware of what's going on in their own backyard, or they not be. The problem with most people is that they don't even participate in the political process. If you look at how much the participation on local elections versus on a national level, it's anemic. If you ask people who is a city council person, if you ask a person who's the representative in their district, if you ask a person who's their treasurer, if you ask a person, anything about the political process or who's the superintendent of the schools or what's going on, a lot of people don't even know that in most of y'all cities they separate the powers from the mayor from the person that actually runs the school, and the school board is voted on by most major large cities. So they'll hold the mayor accountable for what's happening in the schools when the mayor literally has no power to do so. I was talking to Eric Mays, Flint City Councilman Eric Mays, who's gone viral on TikTok and all of the social media platforms, and he's very smart. I can't wait to drop that in the Patreon for y'all. I'm dropping this upcoming week as soon as I get back home. And he was saying that in a lot of cities, the mayors don't even really have any power. They get up there, they promise you guys a lot of stuff in order to get elected, but it's the city council people that actually have the ability to approve or disprove who gets funding, who doesn't get funding, where the funding goes, so on and so forth. And so people focus a lot of times on the wrong thing because they don't have any kind of awareness. And so Dame is right. When you then become a part of the process and fixing your own environment because you then care about what it is that's going on in your own neighborhood, then you can start to empower the people that have the power to then redirect whatever funds or whatever issues they need to solve for. They can do so. But if they don't have any kind of awareness because they're just a representation of the people, if you don't care about your own community, you can't tell them to fix it and then care about it more than you do because they don't even have any awareness to what's going on in that community all the time. In every single crevice, they not aware.
Yeah, no, I get what the people are doing. I understand what the people are doing.
That's all that matters.
But when I elect you in the first place, I should expect you to know about the shit that's going on in this city, and you should want to fix it on your own.
Yeah, but why the fuck you don't want? Wait, time out. Why you don't want to fix it?
That's why I elected you.
Why you don't want to fix it on your own?
What do you mean? That's why I voted.
Why are you depending on another man to fix your fucking situation and complain about it? This is the shit I be talking about. You want another nigga to fix your block and then get mad because they do. Well, shit, why doesn't he want to help me in my house? Nigga, help your own house.
Spaz on that nigga, Dame. This is one time where I actually agree with Dame spazzing on it, because fix your own fucking community and then somebody else can come in and jump on top of that in order to exponentially grow what it is that you already doing. But if you're not showing no care for your own stuff, why are you expecting another person to come in and fix it for you?
We have to put the accountability.
That's why I voted.
Nah, you should have voted because you know that person is going to help your opinion.
Yep.
It's your job to figure out what's wrong with your block and for you to go fix it.
Yep.
That's the problem with politics, is we depend on somebody.
So the only thing I can do to fix it is beg another man to do it.
A lot of people that don't have jobs don't pay taxes. So you're not even paying nobody.
You just told me to go beg another man to get it done in the first place.
I said lobby.
That's begging another man to do your shit.
Lobbying is not begging, it's bringing awareness to the things that's the most meaningful in your community. It's saying that you need to prioritize this when you're taking into account what's going on within the city. right? It's not begging anybody. These are things that we pay into, right? When you pay your taxes, when you pay your property taxes, when you go to work every day, right? When you drive these streets, when you clean up your community, that's a portion of lobbying, is saying that, listen, I'm paying you guys. This is where I think that it's most meaningful for you to direct your attention and the funds of what's going on in the community, because this is the thing that's going to be most impactful and improve. That's not begging somebody when I fucking pay you in order to do your job.
What the fuck is lobbying?
Lobbying is begging or bringing awareness.
What is lobbying? You're begging another man to go do something for you.
So when I go sell a record, am I lobbying? Is that fucking begging when I'm marketing my product?
Kinda.
No, it's not. Now you're wrong. See, that's why, you know what I'm saying? So now you just talking that. So the bottom line is politics is marketing the things you love and making sure people vote for it. Just like when you have a business, you have to market the things you love and make sure people buy it.
Yeah, but if I hire a marketing team, I expect him to go do that.
If it's your business, it's your responsibility to deal with it. You shouldn't be paying nobody or voting for somebody depends on taking care of you.
But
that's the wrong mentality.
Do you hire a marketing team?
Then go and look at the news and talk about it.
Marketing team?
Yes.
Okay, so when you voted that marketing team in, you expect them to know.
First of all, you don't vote a marketing team in, you hire them. And when you hire a marketing team, see, this is disingenuous. This is the same thing that women do when you start to hold them accountable. The same thing that this white man is doing. And listen, some of you niggas is just out of your element. It's okay to say, I don't know. It's okay to listen to somebody. When I interview people, you never, ever see me debate them. And that's the number one criticism that I get from people across the board. From Brittany Renner to Fleece Johnson to Charleston White. People say, Anton, why don't you hold them accountable? You should have stole off on him when he said this. Man, my job is to hear and listen to them and then present the information as they talked about it. I brought them in to get their opinion. I didn't bring them in to debate them. Now, I have a debate that is coming up, or a panel that I have to be a part of that I am being paid for, and they're going to pay me to go out there and give my opinion. I give my opinion every single day. I don't bring people on my platform so that I can tell them how they're supposed to think. I bring them on my platform because they have a unique mindset that I'm then trying to source from, so that I'm trying to get them to communicate every single thing and get every single thought out. Y'all not paying on that interview to see me. Y'all, I didn't fly them in there and put them in the fucking best hotel so that I can tell them what it is that I feel. I flew them in so that they can say what it is that's most meaningful for themselves. That's why I brought them in there. And so it's okay, even if it's your show, for you to shut the fuck up and listen to see what these people got to say, because they may give you some insight that you may not have thought about that's different from what it is that your mindset is going forward. He's out of his element, and instead of him calming down and said, listen, I don't have a need to be right. I should have asked the question and I should just let you answer it, regardless of whether I agree with it or not. Most people got to insert their opinion. It's stupid.
Know what the fuck to do.
No, I expect them to listen.
When you hire a marketing team, you're hiring them to execute your vision, right? You're hiring them to do the thing that you hire them. You don't vote them in. It's a difference.
Listen to me. No, I want them to listen to me.
Listen,
I don't trust time out. I don't trust nobody. I don't trust nobody to know more of me about minds than me. So that means if I was like, yo, I'm gonna pay a teacher to teach my kids. If they're not educated, I'm gonna blame it on the teacher. It's my fault. I'm the parent.
Okay.
He's right.
Well, I'm not the parent of Gary, Indiana.
But you're the
parent of Gary, Indiana now.
You should only be voting and talking about the things that affect you. So he's talking about you. Don't you think it's crazy that the people around his block don't give a fuck enough to learn how to vote? That's what's crazy.
Yes, I do.
To learn how to lobby. That's what's crazy. And then this motherfucker has the nerve to be confident about complaining about another man
get lazy in office just because you get elected in, and then you get lazy in fucking office because you made your money and now you're sucking the dick of all these people who gave you the money to get in there. Pause.
No.
When you're doing that kind of shit.
I think that Dame is, again, and you know me, I'm objective enough to call bullshit when I see bullshit, and I'm objective enough to also give props when it's due. Dame is 100% right. 100% right. You don't depend on anybody in order to fix your situation, but at the same time, you're still trying to do the thing and lobby for what's in the best interest of what's going on in your house. Listen, I'm not going to wait for the teacher to teach my child what it is that they need to know in order to be successful. By the time that my child get to school, they're looking for additional information from the teacher. When my child get a syllabus, I don't know if your children get syllabus, but at the beginning of the year, my child get a syllabus. It basically outlines every single thing that they're going to learn and every lesson that they're going to teach. It tells you when a test is going to be taken, what chapters is going to be studied for, the whole 9 yards. The reason why my daughter can travel so much, even throughout the school year, is because she executes ahead of time based off of the syllabus, and she doesn't wait for the teacher to teach it before she teaches herself, or she brings it to us in order for us to learn it. As a matter of fact, me and her mother study the syllabus, and then we become well-versed in what's going to be taught. So we go out there and study it ourselves or refresh ourselves on what's going to happen. That way, when my daughter comes in and she says, hey, this is what it is that I'm working on, or if I need some help, we are well-versed and we're also proactively prepared to solve for the problem. By the time my daughter get to school, they're just reinforcing what it is that we've already taught her in our own household. School is just an extra medium. It's an extra opportunity for her to learn something. I'm not waiting on the school system and then blaming the principal or the school system in order to teach my daughter, right? That's the job of me and her mother. So by the time she get to school, all she's doing is trying to look for the different things, or she may ask a question or see if they teaching it differently or trying to reinforce what it is that we've already taught her. That's the way that you parent effectively. That's the reason why we need women at home in order to be able to teach the children if you're going to put her in that position in the first place. It's a full-time job. That's the reason why we do it. Schools are not supposed to be babysitter institutions. Your legislators and whoever it is in office is just supposed to be an extension of you. You still supposed to pick up your own trash. The police officers is not out here trying to solve a fucking crime in Tokyo. The people is holding each other accountable. They will grab you by your arm and say, hey, you dropped your litter over there. You dropped your litter over there. Do you know over here in Tokyo, most of the time they don't even have trash receptacles. They have an opening for the liquid, plastic, paper, which means that if you get a drink, you got to empty out the stuff, and then you have to intentionally put it inside of the plastic. It forces you to be responsible for your own trash. If you don't separate it and take care of it, you have to go through and you're forced to address it accordingly. You have to carry your trash with you, and you're shamed. You are shamed if you leave something or you litter or anything like that. You are shamed publicly. The police is just an extension of the people. They're there to help people. They're not there to solve for crimes. The people are solving for the stuff within their own community. You're not going to come in and do some shit and fuck up some shit over here in Tokyo. They're not waiting on the police to go and solve for their problems. You going to get that shit up, and they will walk out there in a minute. Literally will walk out there in a minute. I'm sorry. They don't even be knowing no English. No. You fucking fall in line. You get in line. They not waiting on nobody. The police is the reinforcing of what it is that's already happening in the community. Dame is absolutely right, 100%. Let me read some of these super chats, and we're going to get over into the real meat and potatoes. The Larry Elders. Silhouette said it's not the Illuminati, it's the World Economic Forum. They made an article in 2018 saying they wanted Hawaii to be the first state to implement smart cities. BlackRock, Vanguard, etc. been wanting that land. Well, now it's for sale and they can have it. Shout out to them. Devontae says, don't let Tez give you a stroke when you watch the interview. Oh, shoot. Oh, not this woman again. P.S. Kareem, not the GOAT. Yes, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar is the GOAT. Signed up for the Patreon. Shout out to the Bag Chasers. Make sure you tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. Smiling Buddha says, it's obvious, my friend. Keep cash on hand. Nah, y'all don't have to keep cash on hand. You don't have to keep cash on hand. Listen, all you have to do is be liquid. That's the biggest myth ever. You want your money working for you at all times. And so it's a difference in liquidity depending on what asset that you hold. And I know we getting into bag chaser conversation and stuff that I talk about on the live streams. But what he's saying for keep cash on hold, right? If I'm not mistaken, is he's talking about the ability to be able to take advantage of when people are under duress. So, for example, what's going on in Hawaii? Developers now being able to swoop in, buy the land, make an offer because they have cash on hand. It's not necessarily true. It's that they're liquid. I'll give you an example. I don't believe in a savings account, right? Because I don't make no money on top of that. Even on a high yield savings account, it's trash. It doesn't even beat the rate of inflation. One of the ways in which I manage my portfolio is that I advocate for my people to have a brokerage account, not a savings account. Now, that also means that you have to do the research on the 7 or 8 things, and I got a video inside of the Patreon that I look for when I'm looking to invest in a company. And I'm talking fast because I want to get to the Larry Elder conversation, but I also want to answer y'all super chats, right? It only takes me 2 to 3 business days, and most closings, is anywhere from 7 to 30 days before you can close on a property, right? Now, I'm never that liquid, ever. You'll never, ever catch me with a whole bunch of money. But I have the ability to be able to get a hold of the money because I have assets that I can then divest myself from in order to create cash so that I can then buy something else, right? Also, when it comes to capital gains taxes, I only pay a specific percentage. I don't want to get into this. This is a little deep. My point is that me being liquid and having access to be able to get the money does not mean that I should not have my money always working for me. I don't want to have it in a checking account. I don't want to have it in a savings account, even if they're saying it is high yield, because again, it doesn't beat the rate of inflation. But my ability to be able to get a hold of the money in order to execute on a deal when I see it is the thing that I care about, not necessarily having cash on hand. So don't let them lie to you on that. It's not about just sitting on fucking money. It's not about sitting on money. It's about being able to have access to the money, not paying an egregious amount of interest, and more importantly, being able to acquire the properties or play on whatever the play is when you have the ability to be able to get your hands on that money. It only take you 2 to 3 business days in order for you to be able to get the cash. I always want my money working for me. Always want my money working for me. But that's just the way I move. So shout out to you, big dog. I appreciate you for that. That is a great super chat. Trevor is in the building. Oh, Trevor. Hey, Anton, I hope your trip is going well. I'll be in South Korea in a few weeks for work. I sent an email about setting up another coaching call. I'm trying to secure a spot on the list. Life has transformed since becoming a bag chaser. Hey, can we get another round of applause for that? Trevor, I'm going to write your name down so I can be able to get you up in there. Shout out to Trevor F. and congratulations on life-changing events. If y'all not a part of the Patreon, make sure that you tap into the Patreon. I got more testimonials than any fucking body that's out here on the internet. Don't let them fool you. Don't let them fool you. It's all good is in the building with the fireball says, any thoughts on your boy Charleston White sending his D to another man's DM? Of all of the things that y'all can possibly ask me on the Millionaire Morning Show, of all of the things that, listen, I'll be talking about money, real estate, brokerages, leverage, scaling, all of the different things that we talking about, voting, politics. I'm surprised that y'all asked me this. Any thoughts on your boy Charleston White sending his D to another man's DM? You might have missed you addressed this. Wondering your thoughts on this. I don't care what anybody else does in their personal time. From my understanding, Charleston is going to do what Charleston does. And nobody can control him. And he has his own logic as to why he did it. What do I care? I haven't seen it. Have you seen it? I haven't seen it. So I can't comment on something that I haven't seen. I don't even know if that's true. I don't even know if y'all actually telling the truth on that. So I can't comment on something that I'm not familiar with. Shout out to my dog, Charleston. Love him. Absolutely my homie for life. Always got his back, and he always going to be good in the D. Aaron says, Wilt used to dog walk Kareem. Oh, fucking A. Here we go. Here we go with these bad sports takes. Here we go with a bad sports take. And also, y'all never, ever in life is ever going to get me to say anything negative about my dog, Charleston. You will never, ever, 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 I don't care what the fuck happened, you will never, ever get me to say anything bad about Charleston. Never. Ever. Not at all. Edmund850 says, saw the same thing when I visited a few countries in West Africa and South America. Families hold each other accountable. Community holds you accountable. That's why you excel. Shout out to you. I appreciate you. Thank you, my friend, for holding me down on that. Marcus X says, we, the bag chasers, should draw up legislative proposals and get a member of Congress to address the bill. Be the change that we want to see. Okay. All right. Well, we'll see what happens. Said, P.S. I am for reparations and BA will always will be. I'm for that. Listen, I think that everybody should have, people should do what they feel is best for them. I don't think that we all should agree 100% of the time. It don't mean that we can't come together on things that we do agree with. Right? We can agree to disagree on some things, and then we can come together on things that mean something together. I'm with that. Listen, I think everybody should have their own opinion. Everybody should have their own opinion. Let's see. Let me see. All right, so let's go ahead and get to this Larry Elder shit. I've been dreading this, but y'all said that I gotta go and check it out. So, why is breakfast spelled like that? Oh, fuck. Y'all out here making me look bad. Let me go ahead and remove that. That is not how you spell breakfast. Shout out to the editors in the streets. That is not how you spell breakfast. It is not breakfast. Might have been a typo. Larry Elder. We just going to go ahead and get straight into it. Larry Elder apparently appeared on the Breakfast Club. I am a fan of Larry Elder. I think that Larry Elder is a legend, is a G. He's even cut down the fro. Shout out to Larry Elder. And I don't know if Larry Elder is familiar with these jokers on the Breakfast Club. Yeah, I spotted that immediately. That down there. You know what I'm saying? I spotted that immediately. But Larry Elder appeared on the Breakfast Club. Let's get to it.
Wake that ass up in the morning. The Breakfast Club.
Morning, everybody. It's Steve.
All right, let me speed this up because I need to get to the good parts. I want to speed this up. Let me put it at 1.25. We're gonna be breaking this down. Somebody said Larry Elder is trash. You are capping. Let me move it a little bit forward.
MAGA. Okay. And the answer is I bring a lot of issues to the table that I feel our side is not talking enough about, if at all. For example, the number one social problem in America by far is the epidemic not of COVID, but of fatherlessness. 70% of black kids today enter the world without a father in the home, married to the mother, up from 25% back.
Let me slow that down. He already preaching. You can't even move that up to 1.25. You got to slow that down. He is already preaching. He said it ain't got nothing to do with that. It got something to do with this. It's fatherlessness. It's the fact that it ain't no fathers in the home. Larry is already cooking. How can anybody in the chat say Larry Elder ain't the fucking truth?
Back in 1965. Now 25% of white kids enter the world today without a father in the home, married to the mother. And the stats are clear. Even Barack Obama once cited them. If you're raised without a dad, you're 5 times more likely to be poor and commit crime, 9 times more likely to drop out of school, and 20 times more likely to end up in jail.
Then why do people want to be single mothers so bad?
Happened in the mid-'60s with, I think, the best of intentions. A Democrat named Lyndon Johnson launched what he called the War on Poverty. And since then, we have incentivized women to marry the government and incentivized men to abandon their financial and moral responsibility.
I don't think we're gonna be able to really break this down all the way because doing this live, what they'll do is they'll try to pause the live or whatever like that, even if it's a review video. So I'm limited in the amount of how much I can play for this. I can play it, but I'm limited in the amount of I can play for this. I had to fight when I did the Vivek breakdown, but we still got that up and we got that popping. So I'll be having to fight for it. But I want to jump around, so I'm gonna hear what he got to say, and then I'm gonna jump around a little bit in order to be able to continue to play this for you guys.
You know, when I say this to people, the pushback I get is, well, there are lots of things that are going on: systemic racism, poverty. Here's the problem. If you look at a young black male aged 10 to 43, that's young to me because I'm 71 years old. A young black man in that demo is 13 times more likely to be murdered than a young white man, same demo. Young black man, real young, 19 and under, the number one cause of preventable death is homicide, almost always at the hands of another young black male. Same demo for whites, the number one cause of preventable death is unintentional deaths. That includes drug overdoses, automobile accidents, drownings.
So what he's saying, basically everything is self-inflicted.
It's not until they get to number 4 that death is the cause. In America, 60% of the shootings, the robberies, and the homicides are committed by black people.
I'm going to be reading that super chat shortly, Mr. Hello.
Often against other black people. Of the homicides in this country, half of them are black victims, almost all killed by other blacks. How do you explain that if it isn't for the absence of fathers? Are you prepared to say black people are just genetically inclined to commit more crime? I doubt it. And the go-to reaction often is poverty and systemic racism. Here's the problem. 1940, when there was blatant racism, this is before Brown versus Board of Education, before the Civil Rights Act of 64, KKK was still alive and well, 87% of blacks lived under the poverty line. Now it's about 14%. You can't blame it on poverty. You can't blame it on racism. It is the breakdown of the nuclear intact family, and neither side is talking about it.
And I've been saying this for years, and I'm sorry I got to stop it in the middle of when he's cooking again because, we trying to make sure that we stay intact and in line with the YouTube algorithm to make sure that things is working. So I'm going to have to take some breaks in between when he's talking in order to break this down. But he is absolutely right. And I said that the number one thing that we should be advocating for is updating family court laws and be addressing the fact that we have too many homes where there are not fathers in them. But whatever side of the fence you stand on, I largely believe that the majority of women are choosing to have children by men that don't give a fuck about them, and that most men, even black men, are actually responsible participants in their children's lives, those that choose to have children, right? So regardless of which side of the aisle that you stand on, if we not addressing the actual real problem, which is the fact that we don't have nuclear families anymore, then we are doing ourselves a disservice as a society. He's 100% right.
Left doesn't talk about it because they caused it with the welfare state, and our side does not talk about it because if you're white, you'll be accused of dissing single moms who are heroically raising these kids, or you'll be accused of being a racist, or if you're black, you'll be accused, as I was by the LA Times, of being the black face of white supremacy. Nobody's talking about that. I am.
Shout out to you, big dog.
What are the reasons,
Well, let me fast forward. I want to get to y'all said the Tez chick is in there? Let me see. Oh, I see her.
A quick question. Let's just remove the word racism since that seems to be a word that triggers, a conversation down the water hole. Let's just focus on the word system.
Okay.
You mentioned that the system was the one that discouraged. And again, we have no problem with agreeing that the family, the black family should certainly has some room for some improvement. But let's just focus on system.
Room for improvement?
System. Well, we're not going to go down that water. We're not going to go down that water hole. Let's get to the question. So the question is,
why is she so combative? I just don't understand. How you going to say question, go on a whole soliloquy, and then tell us what it is that we're not going to talk about? I think that Larry Elder is smart enough to understand exactly who he was running into and what he was about to run into. And that's why he dealing with it the way that he dealing with it. I think that Larry Elder understands exactly what the fuck is about to happen, and so that's why he planned it the way that he planned it. I can't. Shout out to Derek's Life Events. I'm going to be reading that super chat shortly. I'm reading all super chat shortly, and I'm going to open up the panel for y'all to be able to get to it. Let's continue.
You said that the system encouraged black women to be single mothers, correct?
I said the welfare state, yes.
The welfare, the system. So who's in charge of the system? Who was in charge of the system?
Well, it was Democrats.
There we go.
Democrats that passed it.
And who were Democrats? Were they black or white at that time?
Well, at the time, majority of black people were Democrats, as the majority of black people are Democrats now.
Not the voters. I'm talking about the system. Remember, the main idea is the word system. Who was in charge of the system at the time? The Democrats at the time, the system. I'm just going to Charlamagne's point about white or black. Was it white Democrats in charge of the system or black Democrats in charge of the system?
Well, if you're prepared to say that Lyndon Johnson did this viciously with an intent to destroy the black family, I disagree. He did it with the best of intentions.
I didn't ask you that.
And if you look at the New York Times, which is left wing, the Washington Post, which is left wing, they cheered all of this.
Right. And what I'm asking was it white people? So I'm going to ask again in case my mic's not coming through clearly. Was it white people in charge of the system or black people in charge of that system that helped break down?
I can't, man. I can't, bro. I can't, bro. This shit is insufferable. It's painful. It's painful. And I know that it's painful because I've argued with hyenas on a regular basis. Here, let me address the super chat really quickly. Mr. Hylel says, if you think Larry Elder cooked, you're part of the circus. Cooked what? We haven't even finished reviewing the video yet. I haven't even started seeing the video. This is how I know y'all biased, man. This is how I know that y'all biased. Y'all not even objective enough to actually review the video so that I can see whether or not he cooked. He was absolutely right that the number one problem for me personally, that I champion inside of what's going on here in America is the fact that we don't have nuclear families. I don't really understand where the disagreement would that be. Yo, y'all so hell bent on being fucking on. Okay, I'm a part of the circus. Agreed. I'll be a part of the circus. As a matter of fact, I tell you what. I bought a new shirt. Let me put my circus shirt on. Just to make sure that y'all know that I'm the ringleader of the fucking circus. All right, give me a second. Give me 1 second. Give me 1 second. I want to make sure that y'all know that I'm the ringleader of the circus. Give me 1 second. I'm going to play her, and then I'm going to come with my new circus shirt on, okay? Go ahead. We going to rock with her.
The black family. It's a simple, yes, just a simple question. White or black?
Well, you didn't have to go on welfare unless you voluntarily chose to go on welfare. The inducement was put there by Democrats, by the left.
Correct? Okay. Democrats,
well,
correct.
most black people were Democrats, and they voted for these white people
Not
too.
voters. I said who's in charge of the system.
Well, who put them in charge?
Was Lyndon Johnson white or black?
Who put them in charge?
Maybe that'll help you.
Fine. Lyndon Johnson was white.
Thank you.
Okay. But if your argument is that the reason he did it is because of racism, then I disagree. He did it because of
That's not my argument. I just asked you.
All right, so now that we got our circus. Oh, that was for the guy above you? Oh, okay, cool. I got you. But I am a part of the circus now. I got my new favorite hoodie. See it? If you turn this way, you can actually see it. Ooh-wee. All right, so let's go. One thing I will say about what it is that she just said, she's trying to create a narrative in order to support her argument, and it's unfortunate because she's so focused on the white or black issue instead of being focused on who actually is. And I say this all the time. The people or who it is that you see in office is a reflection of the people. When I see, it's unfortunate that I got to break this down. We had a black president, right? And Barack Obama. Barack Obama's lasting, largest memory, or the thing that he's championed the most as he has his presidential library and things like that, will be the fact that he advocated for the alphabet community, which is at the worst thing that could happen for the black community, is that he's advocating for the alphabet community. Now, does it matter whether he's white or black, or does it matter the people that actually voted for him to be in office? You got Biden in office right now, which is basically Barack Obama 2.0, except for Biden can't articulate himself and he's not as smooth as Obama, so he can't sell it the same way, right? And Biden is literally selling y'all out, right? He even sold y'all on the idea that you're not even black if you didn't vote for him. Or the fact that he told you that he would get student loans canceled in order to really be able to get y'all to stay under the thumb and the duress that's not best for you. They sold you on the fact that Orange Man bad. So does it matter whether he's white, or does it matter the people that actually put him in the office? These legislators are just a reflection of the people that voted for them, right? So when I hear this stupid ass argument, it doesn't justify anything that she's saying. All it does is say that she has a need to be right.
Simple question: was he white or black, Charlamagne?
And you know, Mr. Elder, you said you talked about
and she thinks she cooked, and she thinks she cooked.
I find that interesting because when you see the mass shootings that happen, majority of those people are white males. What do you think about that?
Actually, if you look at the percentage of whites in America, which is 60%, the percentage of mass shooters is under that. The percentage of people that commit hate crime is under that. The percentage of people who are serial killers is under that. Black people are 13% of the population. We commit a greater percentage compared to that
But no,
of
you
mass
specifically
shootings.
talked about the smash and grabs, though. So I was saying, since you're using that as an example, I'm saying, well, what about the mass shooters that are usually white males?
One more time. They are usually white males because 60% of the country is white. However, they underrepresent in terms of the number of mass shootings. About 50% or so of the mass shootings in this country are committed by white people, even though white people are 60% of the population. They underrepresent. We overrepresent when it comes to hate crime, when it comes to mass shootings, when it comes to serial killings, when it comes to robberies, when it comes to virtually every category of.
Larry Elder is cooking. I don't know how we can disagree with that. How do we disagree with the fact that Larry Elder is cooking? 100%. You can't be 13.6% of the population committing the majority of the crimes. And then a lot of times we don't even classify a lot of the stuff that we see happening in the black community as mass shootings. Every single drive-by is a fucking mass shooting. Every single crowd that these dudes bust in is a mass shooting. Just because it doesn't get the highlight. Listen, it was a dude in Philadelphia that primarily existed within a black neighborhood. He was a black man. He had on a vest. He was a zesty. He just so happened to be a trans woman. And the dude was walking around shooting fucking everything up. And we did not classify that as a mass shooting at all. Every single day, everything that happens in the hood is a fucking mass shooting. But we don't classify it as such. You can't have 13.6% of the population committing the majority of the crimes and then don't think that it's an issue with our community because you want to play identity politics. I don't believe in that, bro.
Violent crime, we overrepresent.
So what do white people do wrong? I'm gonna keep asking you that because I want.
It seems to me rather than deal with what's going on, the pathology that's going on in the inner city, you want to blame. You want me to talk about how bad white people are, which I don't think is a particularly productive thing to do.
Well, I think there's a cause and effect, but if we can't talk about the cause, which I believe is systemic racism and white supremacy, the FBI says.
Well, I just told you, if it's systemic racism, please explain to me how it was when America really had systemic racism in 1940. 87% of blacks lived under the poverty line. Again, this is during Jim Crow era. My father is from Athens, Georgia, grew up in Jim Crow. My mom is from Huntsville, Alabama, grew up in Jim Crow. 87% of blacks live below the poverty line. This is before Brown versus Board of Education. You did not find these kind of black on black crime.
Probably because we had no
But they
choice
still
but
were
to do it
living
ourselves.
below the poverty line, though, sir.
I'm sorry?
What does that have to do with systemic racism causing crime? And they moving the goalposts in order to justify their argument. Listen, Larry Elder is cooking. I'm going to drop the link in the chat for y'all to be able to come up and give whatever opinion that y'all want. I'm going to read the super chats after the show because I want to give you guys an opportunity to say whatever it is that you want to say. But let's be clear. Larry Elder is cooking them all day long. I cannot play the whole video. I cannot break down the whole video because I know that it's, I have reasons for YouTube purposes or whatever. Larry Elder is washing them. And instead of them addressing what it is that he's saying, they're trying to move the goalposts in order to justify an argument. You can't. You got to substantiate your argument.
Getting the fact that they were still living below the poverty line. You're picking and choosing, saying this was good, but this was bad.
Okay.
The bottom line, they end between the poverty line. But let's move forward on system.
Can I just address that? In 1940, 87% of blacks lived under the poverty line. 1960, that number had fallen to 47%. That's a 40-point drop in 20 years. That's the greatest 20-year period of economic expansion for black people in the history of America. Again, well before Brown versus Board of Education, well before the KKK imploded, well before we had race-based preferences. Why? Because it was rare for a black...
She thought that she was just going to get that off and then move it on by saying whatever it is that she wanted to say. And Larry ain't having that shit. Larry said, nah, we going to talk about it.
Black kid to be raised in a family without...
I'm going to pin the link to the top of the chat.
A father in the home, a strong belief in Judeo-Christian values, a belief in patriotism, even as America wasn't applying these values to black people, obviously, and a belief in entrepreneurship. All those things are now under assault by organizations like Black Lives Matter. Charlemagne, Black Lives Matter had on their website an attack on the nuclear family. The founders are self-described Marxists, trained Marxists. Marx wanted to dethrone God, was an atheist, and Marx did not believe in capitalism, let alone entrepreneurship. All the things that made black people...
Ooh-wee! That boy is cooking. And I don't see nobody supporting Black Lives. Hey, how come we have all of these people? I just pinned it to the top of the chat. How come we have all of these people supporting these platforms, but then nobody want to actually fess up and say that they donated to Black Lives Matter? They got all of that money from somewhere. Don't nobody want to fess up to the fact that they voted for Biden. Now everybody is all of a sudden against Biden. Let me play a little bit more of this, and then I'm going to start bringing y'all up here because I want to get y'all thoughts.
Will still survive in virulent racism are now under attack by organizations like Black Lives Matter.
All those things have always been under attack by white supremacy. You can go back to things like whether it's the Tulsa race massacres. Like every time black people do create these systems that are our systems and we are the entrepreneurs, it seems like white supremacy finds a way to destroy it.
Every time, look, the Tulsa massacre, within about 5 years, that whole area was rebuilt. It was not even called the Black Wall Street until after it was rebuilt. And it was rebuilt, by the way, by black people without one.
And he bringing fucking facts. So that means that all of this shit that y'all keep spewing on the internet is not even an accurate reflection of what happened. They didn't even call it Black Wall Street. And that I didn't even know that. I didn't even know that it wasn't called Black Wall Street until after it was rebuilt.
One dime of government money.
Yeah, but who destroyed it to begin with?
It was racists who destroyed it. No question about it. We've had race riots, but so have Japanese.
So you do agree that there's racism? I'm just so confused.
See, Envy know he out of his fucking wheelhouse, so he just sitting there. We know that Envy is. We know who DJ Envy is. We're not even going to address that. I'm gonna bring y'all up shortly. Give me a second.
Never even came close to saying. I never came close to saying there was no racism.
You just saying you don't think it's systemic racism.
Not anymore. Obviously, there was. We had something called slavery. We had something called Jim Crow.
That destroyed black. Hold on, sir. That was system that destroyed. That was the system that destroyed Black Wall Street. It's the same system right now that's not even wanting to pay those same living descendants, because I know your position on reparations, but those same living descendants of Black Wall Street.
Okay.
And then you move, and then you go on to say that the system, the quote unquote system, is also trying to destroy President Trump. So I'm just so confused on, do you believe that the system can destroy or not? You pick and choose, sir, and that's what's so confusing to me. You just said it wasn't racism. Now it is racism. When it was time to build it back, there was no racism.
No, he said it's not racism now. And so it's selective hearing in order to justify an argument. He said that racism existed, and that was the system, which is one of the reasons why you had slavery, but there's no excuse for what it is that you're doing now to yourself. You're worse off than you ever been, but you're freer than you ever been. And so you can't keep blaming it on white people in order for you to be able to justify your argument. At some point, you're going to have to take responsibility for what it is that you're doing. I don't know how they don't know that they're on the wrong side of this argument. I'm gonna bring y'all up.
Let's talk about.
So what are you just hung up on the word system?
Can I just make this point, Charlemagne, please? Let's take Chinese Americans. Chinese Americans were the first ethnic group to be excluded with an Immigration Act in the late 1800s. They had riots against Chinese in L.A., in San Francisco. There were laws that prevented Chinese Americans from participating in the laundry business. I'm in California. California, of course, rounded up Japanese Americans during World War II. There were laws that prevented Japanese Americans from owning farmland. The average Japanese American household has a higher per capita income than the average white household. The average Chinese American household has a higher per capita income than the average white household. How does that happen? It happens because of a strong belief in family. It is rare for a Chinese American or a Japanese American kid to have a child outside of wedlock, and a strong belief in education and a strong belief in entrepreneurship. These are the kinds of qualities that make people successful.
You can't blame.
Larry Elder is... Fuck! Is it possible to get Larry Elder on the show? What do I got to donate in order to get Larry Elder to interview? I got to get that in person, though. I got to get that in person. Let me bring y'all up. I'm curious as to what y'all think, because I just need to know. What are y'all thinking? What's the word out here in these streets? What up, Tony? I'm going to bring up Tony, and I'm going to bring up William. What's up, y'all?
That stuff triggering. What up, what up?
What's happening, y'all? How y'all feel?
Pretty good, man.
What's the word? What y'all think? What's y'all thoughts? Or what questions do y'all have? Any comments, questions? What's happening?
It's triggering, man.
What's triggering? What's triggering?
Man,
Is it my
casually.
sweatshirt?
Nah.
What's triggering to y'all? Why you say it's triggering?
Man, I started watching that interview right before you started the show. I got to the Teslin interruption, and then I turned it off. I said a prayer for you, and I said I'm gonna just watch it with the show.
I can't do it, bro. I can't do it. You know, I understand that he has to do it because he's a presidential candidate and he's on a platform, but I can't do it, man. There's no way that I would be able to have that type of conversation. Well, I don't know. What are your thoughts, William?
Man, I see exactly why she's single to this day. I see exactly why.
What
Cause
man is
she,
gonna deal with
like you
that?
said, bruh, nobody, bruh. She remind me of my ex. Like, bruh, I'm not dealing with that. How you talking? I can't even get my point across. You just want to make sure you're right. You trying to prove yourself right so bad, and you all the way wrong.
So wait a minute,
Like,
Will.
nah, I ain't
Why you
rocking with
talking
that.
to a woman like that? Why was she even your girlfriend in the first place, bro?
Man, I don't even want to get into it, dog.
Nah.
I don't even want to get into it, bro. It was more than a girlfriend. It wasn't even a girlfriend. It was a wife.
Oh no, I caught you, Devontae. I caught you. I caught you, brother. Like he said,
I'm eating. I'm like, man, I ain't think I was gonna come up that quick.
He said,
Man,
"I'm
I
eating."
seen man, I seen that
Oh, no,
yesterday
go
in
ahead.
the interview. Oh, my bad, William. Go ahead. I didn't know you were still talking.
No, you good. Go ahead. It's on you.
No, I was saying I was watching the interview yesterday, just like Tony said he was like, bro, I had to cut it. Like I had to pause it because I'm like, when Anton watches, he gonna be pausing this shit the whole way through because that
I'm gonna
dead
watch
shit.
the whole thing now.
No, you got to go to the 48 minute mark, 48:30. I wrote it down.
What
You got to
happened
go
at
to that.
48:30?
So, Charlamagne was like, Larry Elder, have you ever heard of a nigga wake up call? He like read some shit
Bro.
from the Urban Dictionary trying to say he not
Did
black
he
enough.
really say that? Here, I'll pull it up.
Yeah, but you
Yes.
guys know, yeah, bro. He
Yes.
cooked when he did
Hold on, wait.
that.
I'm gonna pull it up. What's the time?
It's 48 minutes and 30 seconds.
48:30.
Yeah.
All right, let's find out. Let me find it. We can pull it up. He said, "Did you ever?" Well, hold on. Let me find it. 48
Wake
minutes.
that ass up early in the morning.
Yeah.
All right, let's see. Hold on. Let me blow it up. "48 minutes and 30 seconds." All right.
That way about 2020, but yet nobody calls them election deniers and nobody accuses them of undermining our republic. And they're not undermining our republic. They're complaining about an election. You have a right to do so.
I know you probably got to go. Have you ever heard of the term nigga wake up call?
No.
It is an incident where a person of color forgets that they are of color and are reminded rather brutally by an unexpected act of racism. Have you ever had any of those?
brother.
I'm just asking. You think you've ever
Well,
had
I'm acutely aware, Charlamagne, that I'm a black person, just as you are a black person. And
Yo, that got to be some of the most disrespectful shit that I've ever heard somebody say. Because what he tried to do, and I'm gonna let Larry cook. I'm gonna play it. Basically, what he tried to do was he tried to tell him that you a coon.
Exactly.
He basically tried to call him a coon.
Oh,
Hey,
Larry
see,
about to get on him.
but nah, see, somebody need to check Charlamagne because on some real dude literally was accused of facilitating a statutory rape, man, and he admittedly said this young underage girl was my friend. I invited her to my party. He takes no blame in it. This is facts, bro. It's all on YouTube, and it's out of his mouth. And people don't whitewash this shit. Like they just pushed it under the rug. Like, dude, you did some fuck nigga shit. Period.
That's
And
some
you just
disrespectful shit. Let me
He
play
tried
it.
to kill him. He gonna
I'm
regret it
gonna
when he
put it
press
all
play.
together for you, Anton. I'm gonna put all the videos together for you to present
Okay.
this.
Yeah,
You
that.
big enough to get it out here. I'm not.
All right, let me
Like,
see what he
dude,
about to say. Let me see what Larry
go
got
ahead.
to say.
When Joe Biden insulted you by saying, you ain't really black, we don't know whether or not you want to vote for me or vote for Donald Trump, it seems to me that should have been a wake-up call on your part. How dare this guy come in here and insult you, a black man, and tell you you got to think a certain kind of way? I'm amazed that you weren't mad about that.
I'm not gonna say it upset me, just like I'm not letting you upset me. You know what I mean? I don't tend to get upset over things like
Well,
that. But what I did say,
well, you just not talk about
it.
a nigger wake-up call, and it seemed to me that should have been a wake-up call on your part to have a white guy come in here who also said, by the way, about Mitt Romney, because he didn't want to put more regulations on Wall Street, going to put y'all back in chains. And Joe Biden has lied for decades about his civil rights record, claiming that he desegregated movie theaters and restaurants in Wilmington, Delaware, when he didn't do any of that. He lied and said that he tried to visit Nelson Mandela during apartheid South Africa. He did not. And he came in here and told you aren't even black and let you think a certain kind of way. It seemed to me that should have been a nigga wake-up call for you, but it wasn't, apparently.
Yeah, I mean, no, for the record, I'm not.
Yeah. Cook them. Cook them right quick.
Not a Democrat or Republican.
I didn't say you were.
Yeah, I think both.
I don't know what
trash.
you are. I never even asked you about your party affiliation.
Yeah,
I'm just saying, but you are black. And to have a white guy come in here and tell you you have to think a certain kind of way, otherwise you, quote, ain't black? Wow.
How should I have replied to him, you think?
What I just now said, how dare you insult me and tell me I think as a human being, let alone as a black person? I don't tell you how to think, Joe Biden. How dare you come in here and tell me how I should think? I'm going to vote for Donald Trump if I want to vote for Donald Trump. And if I want to vote for Donald Trump, it does not make me not black. 20% of black people, black men, as I said, voted for Donald Trump in 2020. Are they not black now? So only 80% of black people, black men walking around are really black, 20% are not because they voted for Donald Trump? How insulting is that? How condescending is that?
I mean, you're probably right, but I didn't take it in that way.
Well, I did.
As I said to him in that moment, it's just about me wanting something for my people, and I wanted.
No. That's a cook, bro. That's that is a Walter White Breaking Bad intelligent cook, bro. You know what?
Look at the response.
Let me say. Well, let me finish. Let me hear a little bit more of this. I don't want to play it like that, but I'm gonna hear a little bit more of it.
What is he going to do for my people, and not only for my people now? How are you going to atone for the things you've done to my people?
Right.
That's it.
Right. And this is a guy, Joe Biden, who, when he first got into the Senate, hung out with segregationists, talked about how well he got along with them.
It sounded like he did what he did. All right. So here's my thing, though. Here's my thing. And this is just my personal opinion. And I'm gonna rotate you guys out because I want to get different people up here. I want them to be able to get their thoughts on too, and I want to get y'all opinion too. Honestly, I think that the people that think like Charlemagne the God is the real coons.
For sure.
I think that the very ones that say a Negro wake-up call, that always calling people coons and shit like that, I think that they the real coons. I think that they the ones that's really holding black people back. I think that they the ones that talk the most shit and really add no value into people's lives. That's just my personal opinion, though.
No, it's facts. Because
I agree.
Yeah. It's facts. They sit up there. The thing that killed me is like they talk about white people this, white people that. I know Charlemagne got a black wife, but these dudes be having white wives, live in all white neighborhoods, send their kids to all white private schools. When you see them, they're around nothing but white people, and then get on the internet and get on these interviews talking about black this and black that and how bad white people are. And it's so fake because you getting people that's poor and it's controlled by their emotions, wrapped up into this. Oh, it's the white man holding them down, and you don't do nothing but live around nothing but white people. And it's like, instead of like being truthful, like you and Larry Elder, like, bro, look, y'all kill each other over nothing.
Yeah, I agree. Hey,
yeah.
Hold on, let me see something. Hey,
yeah, I can hop off, bro.
Okay, I'm gonna pull down Will, and then I'm gonna pull down Devontae real quick.
I'll holler at y'all.
All right, big dog.
All right.
Let me get a couple of people here. I want to get some different opinions if I can in here. Let me first get Ray. What's up, Ray?
Hey, what's going on, Anton?
How you feel, big dog?
Feeling good. Yeah, so I just watched the interview this morning.
Okay.
And I was surprised at the way she was definitely attacking him. I didn't see that. I think they interviewed someone else the other day, and she was, pandering. Found out she actually worked for Bernie Sanders at one point,
Uh.
and
Yeah, no, she did.
yeah,
She did. It's on her resume.
yeah. So it was amazing, and one of the things that I was thinking about is, there's also poor white people. So this system that she keeps talking about that's oppressing black people is also oppressing poor white people. So when he's asking, "Oh, what are white people doing wrong?" and I think it's the wrong question. It's a divisive question, and it's just adding on to the problem. Where, as you mentioned, it's not a race thing; it's a class issue.
Mm. What do you think about this, Mr. Hallel? Do I say your name right, Mr. Hallel?
It's Hillel, and that's the Greek name for Lucifer. So that's what it is. But I don't know what the hell I'm hearing. Maybe I'm smoking crack rocks. Y'all keep taking pot shots at her talking about she's being aggressive and angry. You're supposed to press people running for office like that. That's the reason why we got ditzy ass women in the office like AOC. Nobody ever put pressure on her ass. Marjorie Taylor Greene, dumbass, talking about Jewish space lasers. Guarantee you somebody put the pressure on her ass, she wouldn't be in office. So I ain't got no problem with her doing what she's doing. But Larry Elder lied through that whole interview, bro, and it was irritating to hear.
Okay, so
But
wait
he
a
was
minute.
talking about.
Let's address the first point. So, what does putting pressure on somebody has to do with being combative?
I don't see it as being combative. I see more. I will say with the Breakfast Club, they are hella biased when anybody from the left come on. They don't really necessarily attack them like that. I think Pete Buttigieg or whatever his name was the only person they did that to. However, I don't have no problem with politicians being pressed out because politicians are paid liars, in my opinion.
No, politicians are people, and then you have to be able to vet them effectively. But just because you talking shit to them, don't necessarily mean that you're gonna get the truth out of them. And so I don't really understand what the objective is. If the goal is just to be combative, how does that actually help you more effectively vet the person that you're actually trying to vote to determine whether or not you want to vote for him or not?
But he was saying a bunch of nonsense the whole time. Now, I will
Wait,
say
wait,
maybe
wait,
the
wait,
way
wait,
she was
wait.
cut.
Hold on. You ain't addressed the first part. What does being combative have to do with being able to vet somebody effectively?
I just told you I don't see it as being combative. So I did
By
address
coming
that.
in, you just said that they hella biased.
Yeah, they're biased, but they don't. Bias and combative are not the same word. They don't mean the same thing.
It is because it comes out of her actions, right? Her bias is then being shown by her being combative, which does not allow for the person to actually answer the question because she's not looking to have a conversation. She's just looking to get her points off. That's what makes us combative, is because he didn't come in there to debate. He came in there to have a conversation. You can't even get
Man,
out of somebody the truth if you're looking to be combative. You only looking to debate them.
they had a conversation, but when you
It
knowingly
wasn't
tell
a
me a lie, I'm not just
conversation.
gonna let that shit slide.
Okay, what did he
When he
lie
started
about?
talking about the
Yeah,
whole,
what he
About the
lie
lie
about?
part. Because I didn't see the whole interview, but I'm gonna take your word for it. What did he
first
lie
of
about?
all, this whole conservative talking point of fatherless homes, that's already a myth debunked by the CDC data. This is
How?
data. This ain't nobody making it up. What they're conflating is two issues. They're conflating women who are married and having kids and fathers being active, and they're combining it. One, black men are the most active fathers by data, so we can knock that bullshit out of here. The second
Wait, wait,
line
wait, 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 wait,
that
wait,
I
wait,
know,
wait, wait, wait. Hold on. I'm a sleep student, so you got to slow down for me. All right. So you're saying that? Give me a second, fellas. I want to be able to kick it with Mr. Hallel real quick. I'm gonna drop you down, Tony. I'm gonna drop you down, Ray. All right. So go ahead. You saying that? Say that again, slow, because I'm a C student.
they're conflating two issues at once. So, like, let's say a black woman has a kid, and they'll be like, "Oh, well, the child is fatherless because the man and the woman are not together, and he's not living in the same household." That
Mm-hmm.
doesn't mean that child is fatherless. Black men, like I said, according to CDC data, we are the most active fathers. Period. We take care of our kids. This whole fatherless thing, it's a fake narrative because I don't have to be in the household with you to take care of my kid and make sure he is that preferable. Sure, you would like that to happen, but sometimes the adults just don't match together and shit happens.
But the
Right.
data still stands in that children are much more likely to go to jail. They're much more likely to need therapy and become dependent. They're much more likely to be on drugs if you do not have a father, a nuclear family. Specifically, Larry Elder said nuclear
But
fam. Hold on,
but that
hold
data,
on, hold on,
but
hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on. Larry Elder specifically spoke about nuclear families. And he said, and he stated the facts, and it doesn't take away from the reality that when you don't have both a mother and a father in the household at the same time, you're much more likely, or you're much likely to be behind the eight ball as a child than a child that is not. That is just a fact. It doesn't matter how much you participate in a child's life. Listen, it's a lot of guys that try to participate in a child's life, but it doesn't mean that they're not still subjected to the idea of the teachings of feminism when he's not there, which is one of the reasons why he need to be there in the household with the child in order to debunk and actually change the narrative of how a child is supposed to think, because the way that a child learns is not just by what it is that you say, is by what it is that they observe. So their cultural norms then become similar to what it is that they're observing happen in their own household, and the separation and then what's being taught. And then he has to come in, undo all of the things that she's teaching to him, even through her actions, once he gets a hold of him in the limited time that he has him. So just because you're active in your child's life does not mean that that's a nuclear family. And it still creates the narrative, and it still creates a society in which a fatherless household, however you want to label it, is bad for the child compared to a child that is living in a household
Here's
with
where
a
that
nuclear
doesn't make
family.
sense at. Did you know your grandparents?
Yes.
Okay, so I knew my grandparents. My granddad's a Vietnam vet.
Okay.
He worked 60, 70-hour weeks. Men in the past were not in the household like that. So the woman was still teaching the child, and they didn't have the same problems. So that narrative you just said don't make no sense to me.
How don't it
That's a
make
cop
sense
out, in my
when the
opinion.
statistics back me up?
No, it don't. I just said that he's using the false narrative. You can look at the CDC data. We're the most active fathers.
Okay.
Ain't like that
What
whole
does
fatherless
being an
America shit
active
is not
father
real.
have to do with the results of a nuclear family? Is what I'm saying. It's a lot of people. You can label active however you want to label it, but it doesn't change the fact that children are more likely to go to jail, much more likely to be gay, much more likely to be dependent on social
More likely to be
services.
gay. What the? Okay,
Absolutely, 100%. Men that are
Jesus
raised
Christ.
in households that are primarily ran by women, single mothers, are much more likely to be alphabet community. That is a fact.
They're more likely to be gay because they've been touched on by their uncle. But I ain't gonna touch on
That's
that.
true too. That is true too. But
I'm gonna leave that alone.
you can't argue with the data that says that a nuclear family is much better for a child than an active father.
I hear what you're saying, and I'm not
No,
disagreeing
come
with
on,
that.
man.
But that's
Let's
hold on,
talk in
hold on,
truth.
hold
Let's
on.
talk in truth.
But that's not what he's talking about because I've heard him talk before. That's why when
I
y'all be
heard
making
him
the
say
comments about
nuclear family. I just
hold up,
heard him on that
hold.
limited amount of
Slow it
time that I
down,
just
big
reviewed
dog.
it. He
Slow it
said
down,
nuclear
big dog.
family.
I've heard him talk before, just like I've heard Tevlin talk before. That's why when y'all become that Tevlin, it's comical because she's on Fox News. Like I've heard both of them talk. Larry Elder is talking out his ass. Like
Okay, you
when he
still
talk,
haven't said what he said that was wrong.
I just I
You're
don't know how
wrong
else to, I
about
don't know
that.
how else to explain it, bro.
Okay,
I'm wrong about
do
what?
you have something else that you can identify? Because we can agree to disagree on that. Is there something else that he said that you think is wrong?
He lied about the prison incarceration. He said most of the people that are locked up are violent offenders. Don't matter what race you are, that's not true. Most of the people that are locked up are
He
non-violent
said it in that
offenders.
interview.
Yes, he said it in that interview. He said 60% of people that are locked up are black males that commit violent crimes. That's not true at all.
Okay, what's this? I didn't see that part because I had limited time to review it. What's
Because
the
you didn't. I
statistic?
mean, I did. You had limited time, so that's what I'm saying. You didn't see the whole interview, but
Well, okay, so correct
the
it. What is this? What is the statistic?
most of the people that are in jail, regardless of your race, are in there for non-violent crimes. Like, let's say white boy get pulled over with a brick of cocaine. That cocaine he was gonna bust down for him and his friends at a party. He got pulled over and now he got locked up.
So
Most of the people in jail are
you
not in
saying
there
the
for.
overwhelming majority of the people in jail are in there for nonviolent crimes?
Yes, non-violent crimes. Everybody's not in jail. Majority for being Ted Bundy or Jeffrey Dahmer. That's not the case.
All right, I didn't see that part of the interview, but I'll do a little bit of research on that. Crime rate. Let's see. Is it while I look that up? Is it anything else?
And then he made the
Actually,
comment
he
about
was
the
right.
system and the reason.
Violent crime soared 270%. 39% of prisoners. They saying 39% of prisoners should not be in prison because they're in there for nonviolent crimes. 61%, 60 and 61% of prisoners are in prison for violent crimes. That's what it's saying based off of what I just pulled up.
Where'd you pull it up from?
That's Time magazine.
What's the date on that? If
Uh,
I'm wrong, I stand corrected. But last
2016.
time I checked, I
This
mean that's
article is
5
from
years ago. But
2000. This article is from
I'll
2016.
stand corrected on that if that's the case. But I could have sworn
Okay,
it's for
okay.
nonviolent
So, all right, I'll pull it up
offenses.
on here for you, just so you can see it for yourself. I'm trying to figure out where it is that he lied at. You still not saying the part that he lied about it?
I just don't know how to articulate it. The
No,
man
no, no,
lied through
no,
the
no,
whole
no, 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 no,
interview.
no, no. Because we can pull this up. See, this is a Time magazine article in which they broke it down. I looked at the actual quick talking points in order to justify what it is that I just told you. I'll minimize it really quickly because I don't want it to cover up you or whatever. But in the Time magazine article, it's literally saying that 39% of prisoners shouldn't be in prison because they have committed nonviolent crimes. 60 to 61% are in there for violent crimes.
It still will be a false narrative because you say 60% of them of that number were black men were in there for violent crimes. I say regardless of race.
Regardless of race, 60 to 61% of men are people in prison for violent crimes.
Okay, I'll take that article up. I'm gonna pull up. I can't look at it right now, but I'm gonna look up some more current stats. But if that's the case, I stand corrected.
All right, so what else did he lie about?
I ain't got no problems with that.
What
You have to watch the whole interview. You won't have to watch the whole thing off of this because you can't really break it down like this on here like that. I get you're breaking it up in parts,
I'm pulling
but
it
the whole
up based
interview.
off of what you said.
But the whole interview, he didn't eat his talking points. The whole system comment. He made a comment talking about the system's rigged and they're going after Donald Trump. And then when they pressed him out about it, he tried to be like, "Well, wait a minute, this is not the system." And then
Here,
he kept
I'll
flip
bring it up
flopping on a
again
bunch
for
of
you. I'm
issues.
gonna break down some of the statistics in the article for you. I'm gonna blow it up for you. First, many of the people who are in prison shouldn't have been sent there in the first place. For example, they found that 25% of prisoners, almost all nonviolent offenders, low-level offenders, should be better served alternatives to incarceration, such as treatment, community service, probation. Second, another 14%, 212,000 prisoners have already served long sentences for more serious crimes that can be that can be safely set free. That's how they came to that number.
So that last part I didn't hear you, my fault.
Well, here I'll let you be able to review it.
Yeah, I'm about to say I'll look it up. You ain't gotta do that. I'll look it up.
So, what part do you think he capping about?
His whole interview was cat, bro. That's just me. I
Okay,
don't
so
know how
tell
else
me
to
tell
explain
me
it.
the other parts.
I already broke it down the first time, and I can see that you're stuck on the nuclear family, the nuclear
No,
part of
no,
that.
I'm
So we'll
asking
leave
you
that alone.
what other part is he capping about? You said that he was capping about the nuclear family. I don't we agree to disagree because my stats say otherwise. You said about the prisoners. I didn't get to see that, but I just pulled it up and it seems like he was telling the truth. Now I'm asking what else is he lying about?
I just told you they pressed him on the whole system comment. That's the only reason why she was focusing on the black and white when you
But he
first queued up that.
substantiated that by using evidence from the past that basically said that when black people actually was under systematic oppression, such as slavery, right? They were doing exponentially better than black people are doing today, and they're freer than they've ever been. So how can you use that in
But
order
that,
to
but
just
but by data, that's
how can you use that to justify it when poverty existed exponentially and they were actually under the thumb of organizations that blatantly was showing racism? Whereas today we're freer than we ever have. We have more freedom. You even have the freedom to determine who's going to be in your elections. You don't participate in your own local elections, but we're saying that we're systematically still oppressed. How is that possible?
Well, first of all, he didn't even acknowledge the current systematic issues. He said they didn't exist. So, Envy brought up the point about the loans, the home loans, where people have the same credit. Uh, Hispanics and blacks get denied at a higher rate. He tried to make an excuse for that, saying the reason for that was because we're not using our own banks. Like I didn't know there was a bunch of Hispanic and
He
black
said
banks
that
just
people
floating
die
around
at a
here.
higher rate. All the top three reasons that they die at a higher rate was all self-inflicted. I did see that
No, I
part.
didn't say die. I said buy. He was talking about the loan part. They
He
get
said,
denied loans. Envy brought up. Go ahead.
No. I'm trying to hear it because I didn't see all of the interview. I didn't get the chance to watch it yet. Go ahead.
Okay, so he don't believe in current systematic oppression or whatever you want to call it. Envy
Neither
was
do
like, so
I.
what about the okay? But Envy was like, so what about the loan issue? And the basically Envy had to G check him and pull up an article on site. He was like, well, that's no such thing. The reason why black people get denied homes because their credit is low, blah blah blah. And then Envy pulled up the New York Times article. He was like, no, when you have a white guy with a 700 credit score, a black guy with a 700 credit score, and a Mexican with a 700 credit score, the black and Mexicans get denied at
But
a
do you
higher rate than the white
understand
people.
that? Do you understand that there's other factors outside of your credit score that determines whether or not you qualify for the loan?
I
I'll give you
understand
I'll
that.
give you an example. I'll give it because I'm intimately familiar with the banking system because I studied it because I've worked in it for the past 10 years. Okay. So because I'm intimately familiar with it, I can break it down from you from a C student's perspective. It's not just credit score that qualifies you. It's credit history. It's also how much you earn, and it's also how much your debt to income ratio is, just on a basic level, right? So I'll give you an example. If a person has a 700 credit score, let's say they have a 740, and then let's say that they make $60,000 a year. And then let's say when you start to break down their credit to see exactly what's financed on it, right? Regardless of whether or not you even have a lower than 30 or a lower than 10% debt to income ratio, you still can't afford a specific type of loan. And it also matters what type of loan that you're trying to qualify for, right? Some people get qualified for pulling money out of their homes. That is a type of loan. It's called a HELOC. Right? Some people refinance. Some people leverage something that they have as an asset that they can justify that they put up, for example, as collateral, right? You can also look at your retirement, right? They look at your entire profile as a human to qualify you as to whether or not you're going to be able to actually pay that thing back, right? And it's not just your credit score that determines whether or not you qualify for the loan. You can have a 800 credit score and go and apply for a fucking Lamborghini, but that don't mean you qualify for it just because you got a 800 credit score if you make
Big dog,
$60,000 a year.
I understand this. I'm a property owner myself. I understand that, but that was
So
the
what are we
focal
talking
point
about?
that
Why are we
Envy
not
focused on.
why are we not adding the context into it
They
in
didn't
order
they
to
didn't get to use the whole
to
concept, but
better
that
understand,
was
huh?
that was what Envy decided to focus on. But of course, we know there's more context. But the point was, Larry Elder tried to deny what the stats and the data was saying that Envy pulled up. He said it was because black people, we don't have our own banks, we're not pulling capital from our own people. He tried to use some half-ass excuse to explain that, and they didn't even get into
I just
details like I
explained
wanted
it
them to
to
do.
you.
Okay,
I see
you
people come
explained it.
in every day.
Cool.
I see people
Okay,
all
but
the
you're
time,
not.
and I get the data, I get the statistics.
Yo,
Listen,
you're not running
I
for
work for
president.
the bank. I
You're
work
not
for the
running
bank.
for
I've
president
worked for
though.
multiple banking. Listen, you can go and look at my LinkedIn. Not only is the
Bro,
bank that I'm working at
I'm
now, but the banks
aware
that
of
I've
all
worked at
that.
before. I understand the
I'm
data
a,
and the statistics.
I'm not denying you. I'm aware of that, but you're not him. You're not on the platform. Had they asked you that, you could have broke it down like that. That nigga couldn't broke down anything
No,
because he was too busy
he's
trying to say,
still
well,
no. He's still right. But I'm just adding the additional context to justify my argument because I didn't hear his answer. Based off of what you saying that he said, he's still right. And now I'm adding the
how's he right?
context. I just broke it down for you. Just because you have
Okay,
a
you broke
700
it
credit
down, but
score don't mean that you should
what?
qualify for a loan.
Hold on, time out. I said Envy chose to focus on one point. The
His
article
fault.
talked about everything. The article talked about everything you just said. No, I'm not
What's the
arguing what you said. What
article?
you said
I'll pull
is
it up right
correct.
now. What's the article?
You have to go back and look to see what Envy said. I don't know exactly what he said. He pulled it up on him on the spot, and Larry Elder deflected from that conversation. He tried to say a bunch of bullshit
You
that just
do know
wasn't.
that every bank has their own criteria for what it is that you have to qualify for in order to be
Yeah,
successful.
every bank has their own criteria. That's why they understand why he was mentioning the black bank because they're going to have less capital anyway. So actually, the denial rate will be higher for a black bank for a black person to go to, in my opinion, if they not on their
Mm,
P's and Q's money wise.
So I don't understand what the issue is. Where no because the issue that you brought up was systematic racism, and I'm trying to understand how you trying to qualify the systematic racism argument
Bro, you
through.
still got you still got companies getting caught denying like the I think was it Charlemagne? I'm not sure. Correct me if I'm wrong. He brought the whole appraisal issue. You still got that. That data's already been launched out at 32 million appraisals. We get a lower rating than white folks for the same house. They've already went into that. You got the issue. Well, didn't Wells Fargo's get busted for treating black people a certain way? I mean,
I don't
correct
know
me if I'm
anything
wrong. This
about
shit happens all the time.
you gotta qualify this, bro. I have no idea what you're talking about. Wells Fargo. I don't know what you're talking about, bro. Honestly.
There's a bunch of companies that are still discriminating per se on you based off your skin, not necessarily your criteria. That's what Envy was trying to point out to
Like
him.
what? Give me an example.
Jesus Christ.
Give me an example. When I speak, I justify my argument by actually giving you the insight and information. I add context. I say what I say, and then I add the context in order to justify my argument, right? So now I'm asking you to do the same thing. Give me an example, and then we can hopefully mine it out so I can get a better understanding of why
I just gave an example with the housing on.
Oh no, wait.
I just
About
said
how I'm also systematically oppressed too. Because I should be fitting in that same category too, right?
I don't understand what you're trying to say. I
I'm
don't
trying to
first of all,
understand where the systematic oppression is happening at.
I'm not saying that we're systematically oppressed. I'm going off of their talking points. You gotta understand, I live in Charles County, Maryland. This is the richest black county in America. So I'm not, the average
Okay,
household
so
income is
we aren't
138,000.
systematically oppressed? Or are
I
we?
don't believe so, no.
So what's the argument then?
Because the argument that Tesla was trying, the Breakfast Club was trying to put in, there's still systems in play that may hinder per se.
But you don't
And he
agree
was like,
with
no,
them.
I don't agree with who?
Tesla and the Breakfast Club.
About the system comment?
Yes.
They all agreed on the same thing. That's the point they were
No.
trying to make.
You don't agree with it. You just
I'm not
admitted
oppressed,
that they're
no.
wrong because you said you don't believe in systematic oppression based off of your own life experiences.
I'm not oppressed, and I don't believe in white supremacy either.
So since you don't believe in systematic
we're not talking about me though.
Wait. Since you don't believe in systematic oppression as it's being stated today for black people, not in the past, not during slavery, right now, you don't believe in it, but you still believe that they should press him about something that you don't even believe in, right?
If it's on certain topics, sure, you can do that. Two things can be true at the same time. We don't have to be oppressed for you to realize that, hey, there's a system that's flawed.
No, you just said that there's no systematic oppression as it relates to how you see life. Why do you think somebody else oppressed somebody if you don't even believe that it exists?
Because I see where they're coming from, far as the context is concerned. I think the example that they used were, I think Charlamagne said something about how you got different jail sentences for crack compared to powder cocaine, but that was already alleviated with certain laws, so it was no need for him to really use that. But that's what he chose to use. That was the thing.
No. We talking about you. You think that
Why are you talking about me?
The first thing that you said when you came up. See, I got the memory of an elephant. I'm a C student, but I got a memory of an elephant. The first thing that you said when you came up was that it's okay to press.
Man. You sharp as hell.
Was that it's okay to press people. You said it was okay to press people, and then I said no. That's just being combative. And now we come in full circle. Because you believe that they should press people even if you don't believe what they saying is true. And then you said, hold on.
No, address that first. Hold on, address that first.
You added a little sprinkle on top of it, and you said that Larry
I'm not the only one voting though. You can't just go for what I believe.
No, it's not about what other people vote. It's about you as an individual. You gotta vote.
Yeah, okay. I'm gonna play off what you just said. Okay, let's say, hold on.
Wait. I don't justify the argument at the people at large. I justify my perspective. You're not justifying the argument of everybody.
One person, though.
Wait. You're not justifying the argument of everybody because everybody don't believe like you. Some people believe like you. Some people don't. You have to justify how you believe because you're the only person that's going to be in that voter booth. So considering that, where did Larry Elder lie? Because you haven't justified that. And why do you believe that they should be combative with him when you don't even believe in what they saying is true? You just admitted it out of your own mouth.
But I just told you that I don't see pressing somebody who's trying to run for president as being combative, one. And two, I have a different mentality than most people. So let's just, even if I play devil's advocate, let's say I say, oh, systematic oppression is real. My mindset is, fuck having the table, I'm going to eat regardless because I'm a wolf. I don't care how you see it, that's just what it is.
So you don't think that you're going to be oppressed and slowed down?
Even with obstacles in the way,
wolves can only exist in a space where it's not deforestation. They can only exist in a space where humans is not over there tearing up the fucking environment. So if you wait. No. A wolf is only limited to the amount of space that humans allow for them to exist in. So are you telling me that it does not matter and that you are not systematically oppressed and nobody is putting you in a position to not eat, right?
There's something also called natural selection and adaptation. I'm going to adapt regardless to what I need to
No, you're
do, but
not.
I'm
You're
gonna
gonna be
get mine
extinct.
regardless.
You're gonna be It's
You
plenty
say,
of animals. It's plenty of animals that go extinct every single year. Every year, it's plenty of
okay,
animals that go extinct.
I'll play devil. Hold on, I'll play devil advocate with that too. Okay, let's
Okay.
say I go extinct. I don't fear death, so it don't bother me. If I lose the game of life, I just lose. It don't
That's not
bother
the
me.
argument. We talking about being systematically oppressed, and then you try to relate it back to being a wolf. And I'm telling you that argument don't even fucking fly. That's a bad example.
That argument flies with me. What you mean?
No, it doesn't. See, now you're doing that my truth thing. It ain't about your
I
truth.
I
It
didn't say
ain't
nothing
about
about
my
my truth. None of that.
truth. It
I
ain't
didn't say none of
about
that.
what you believe. It's the truth. The only thing that matters is it's one truth. And I need you to justify this whole systematic oppression thing, bro.
I say it varies of what you want to talk about, as far as like systems or what. Like what they chose to focus on. I think she said healthcare, jails, and then she got him on when he cried about the whole Donald Trump and the systems coming after him. And she was like, wait, so is it a systematic issue or not? And he couldn't answer that. But when he just literally just said it's a two-tier system injustice and Donald Trump's being hunted by the DOJ. And she was like, so there is a systematic issue. And he couldn't answer the question. After he just got done saying it was a systematic issue when he was crying about Trump.
Do you think it's a
Which I'm not
systematic
saying
issue? I haven't seen it yet, so all I have is your word to go off of. But if I got to go off of what it is that you're telling me right now, I don't believe that he did that. I don't believe that he did that.
You could go watch the video. I'm a cat for it. This is the internet. You could easily go pull it up.
I am. But
I mean,
do you believe? Let's end it on this. Do you believe that systematic oppression is going to stop you from being whatever it is that you're going to be? Do you believe that systematic oppression is even a real thing for Black people in 2023?
to answer your first question, I already answered that. No, it's not going to stop me.
Mm-hmm.
To answer the second question, yeah, that is a thing. It depends on
But
what
you just
sector you're
said that
talking
it
about.
wasn't a thing. I asked you a trick question just to see if you was going to switch up your answer. And you said that it
I ain't
wasn't
switch
a
up my
thing. Yes, you
answer.
did. Yes, you did. I
I do
asked
what
you a
you trying
trick
to do. I ain't
question.
switch up my answer.
I asked you a trick question
Because
just to see if
but no, I literally said it depends on what you're talking about. And once again, you keep trying to focus it on me. Take me out the equation. I'm a fucking
no.
anomaly, bro. You can't put me in the equation.
No. I can't believe you fell for the bait. I asked you a question to see if you was gonna
Bro,
switch
I
up
see
your
what you're
answer, and you
doing.
switched it up.
It ain't nothing new to me, bro. I see what you're doing.
What do you mean? You just answered it differently than you answered it 10 minutes ago.
I didn't answer it differently. I know. You maybe you're not understanding me. I don't speak in Mandarin or something.
Okay,
When you ask me,
bring me in. Help me to understand it.
when you ask me, was there a systematic oppression? I literally say it depends on what context or what category you're talking about. You keep trying to wrap it back
Okay.
to what I believe. Take me out the equation.
Why am
I'm
I
a
taking you out of the equation
person.
and you the person that's giving the opinion?
This has nothing to do with me.
It has everything to do with you.
We're
Because you're
related
the
to
one that's
the Breakfast
arguing
Club interview,
against
not me.
the thing that I think is true.
Hold on, say that one more time. I didn't hear you.
It
You
has
breaking up.
everything to do with you because you're the person that's arguing the point. You got to substantiate your argument.
There's a lot of shit I can't say right now, but I don't feel like the focus on me, bro. I don't think you should do that. 'Cause like I told you, I don't believe in the oppression. I don't believe in the whole white supremacy shit. It's more like white inferiority, but I'm not gonna get into that. But I mean, so you gotta take me out the equation.
No, I'm not.
You
I'm not
can't put
taking you
me
out of
in.
the equation. I'm not taking you out of the equation. No.
Okay, that's fine. It's cool.
Why do you call yourself the devil or the prince of what did you say it meant? Your name?
Hallel is the Greek name for Lucifer.
Why do you call yourself Lucifer?
Because that's the entity that I've always related to the most. I always
Why?
felt if we're going off the story of Yahweh of the Most High, I feel like it's like history. History's written in the eyes of the victor. I feel like, you know, maybe the Most High won, and he's fabricating some things. A lot of shit in the Bible just don't make sense to me. Before you come at me with the whole,
I didn't
"Are you
say
a Christian?"
nothing.
Yeah,
I'm just listening. Why are you feeling? Why are you being offended? And I didn't even. I am
I'm
being a
not
good.
offended. Look,
Wait.
I'm just
I'm being a good listener. I asked you a question. I see that you're not getting arrested, are you?
no. I'm good.
Okay.
My
I'm
my
being a
record
good
clean for work,
listener.
bro.
And I'm just listening and you already feeling offended. What is going on?
Because no, I'm not offended. I saw the conversation with you and what was that dude
So
the
you
that
gonna
you had on the
judge
panel
me
today.
in our conversation based off you answering the question, you had the floor and you just automatically started getting mad at me.
No, I'm not mad. I'm just letting you know for the disclaimer because a lot of people they'll because I told you what I was before and you questioned it, and then when I say that and then I start speaking on Christianity, people are like, well, how can you speak? Well,
I just
I mean, I
asked you
grew
a
up.
question. All right, go ahead. So you don't believe
Okay,
that it's real. Go ahead. I'm listening. And
I
leave
don't
me out of
believe
it.
that.
I'm just asking you.
I don't believe. I believe they say the biggest trick the devil played on people
Who is
having them
they?
believe that he's society.
Okay, so
Say
you're
the
going off of
biggest trick the
society. I
devil
got you.
has played. The biggest trick the devil has played is to get y'all to believe that he's not real, and I don't see it that way. I said the biggest trick the devil got y'all thinking is that he's God, and now
Who is
y'all worship him
y'all
on
and who
Saturdays
is
and
why do you
Sundays.
keep referring to they and y'all? I'm asking you how you feel, not how society feels, not anybody else. What are your thoughts?
I connect to this quote unquote dark side more than I do that heavenly God shit. It is what it
Why?
is. What you mean? Why? That's just what I connect to. I mean,
What do you mean?
that's
Why? I know why I know why I follow God. You should know why you follow the devil, right? No?
well. Well, first of all, I don't follow the devil. That's the thing.
Okay, well you more identify with him, okay? And I just
That's
ask
that's
why.
not the, that's not the case either. That's a long conversation. But if you want to get into it, we can real quick.
We can talk about it. I'm curious.
So first of all, a lot of people get what I am confused. I am a Luciferian. I am not a Satanist. Satanists believe the devil as an entity or a deity, and they worship him. Luciferians don't do that. I believe in the psychology of the left-handed path. So, so if you want to classify me as anything, I'm technically an atheist. I don't
Hmm.
believe in that shit.
So why did
But
you say you identify more with Lucifer then?
growing up in the church and all that and dealing with that, I subscribe more to the dark things. The shit that we was learning in church didn't add up. Then when I actually got to read the Bible for myself, I was like, oh no, this is not the entity I want to align myself with.
So
If it is true,
why don't you call yourself Mr. Nothing then instead of calling
Mr.
yourself
Nothing,
Mr. Yeah, because you said you're an atheist. That means you don't even believe in anything, right?
by definition, sure.
So
But
how do you
why would it be
identify?
nothing?
Okay, so the devil is a comic book character that you more identify with then.
I just said it's a philosophy, and I'm not about to go all into that because we're not supposed to.
Who is we
But
not
I'm not a
supposed to?
Satanist, so don't confuse me with a Satanist. That's not.
I
I'm
didn't say
not.
you was anything. All I'm doing
I
is
know.
asking you for clarity and context.
And
You
I
said that
also
technically you don't believe in anything, but then you more closely identify with this mythical thing that you don't believe in.
I don't see the issue with that.
I don't either. I'm just asking you what the mindset is behind it.
I just don't rock with your God. It is what it is.
I ain't talking about me. I'm asking you why you think the way you think.
So now we ain't talking about you.
What do I got to do with it?
You're a Christian. You've stated that before, right?
Correct, but I'm asking you about why you
Okay,
saying that you
hold on.
don't believe in
Okay, hold on.
anything, but then you more closely identify with something that you don't believe in. Is what I'm asking.
I can't identify with your deity or beliefs. What's the issue with that? And let's
Oh,
say
we not
you're
talking,
right.
but
Let's say you're
what do I have to
hold
do
on.
with the fact that of what you believe? Listen, you gonna believe whatever you gonna believe whether I'm here or not, right?
That's correct. Yeah.
Okay, so what I'm asking you is why do you not believe in anything, but you more closely identify with something that you don't believe in? Is what I'm asking, and I don't have nothing to do with it.
I didn't say you did. I'm just when I say you, I'm not necessarily saying you per se. I'm just using you as a standoff for Christianity or whatever you want to say, the
Okay,
major religions per se.
okay.
If I had it my way and I can click my fingers like Thanos, there would be no such thing as religion, period, or any aspect of it.
What does that got to do
I
with
feel
what
like
you
it.
believe? What
What
is
they
that?
got to do with
Okay,
I
listen,
believe?
you're dodging the question. This is what
No, I'm not. No, okay, okay. I think I got what you're saying. I'm not dodging the question. It's hard for me to articulate it because you know nothing about what I believe. So if I walk up
It's
to
not
another
hard
person and
to
say
articulate. I understand exactly what you're saying. That's why I'm asking follow-up questions.
so our philosophy is simple. We want to push humanity forward. It has nothing
Who is
to
our?
those who have the same belief as me.
But it sounds like you were one of one because I don't know anybody that don't believe in nothing, but then more closely identify with something they don't believe in.
Of course, because you're not in this world. That's why I'm having a hard time
I am in this
articulating to you
world.
that
I'm
the
look at all this shit. I'm right here.
hell
I'm
no,
right
nigga.
here. I don't listen.
I'm not talking about you in like a
I've
physical
known
form, bro. I'm talking about
atheists. I've
there's
known
society.
a lot of
There's
different people that
society.
believe in something, but most of the time, when somebody don't believe in nothing, they can't say that they then identify with something that they don't believe in. That's all I'm saying.
Like I said before, you don't know about the world I live in, so it's hard for me to articulate to you. I'm not the only one. Trust and believe that your media is enriched with our symbolism. The biggest religion on this planet is encroached in our belief. I
What does that
just
got to do
not
with
finna go there.
logic? But what about what you saying?
What you mean? So
I
I
I
can't.
mean what I
So I
mean. I
can't.
mean what I just said.
But I gave you the breakdown. I said I believe on the philosophy side of it. I didn't say I have
You
to believe.
named
I
yourself
can take.
something that you don't believe in.
I literally just said I believe the philosophy side of it. I don't have to believe in the deity itself.
Okay,
The two
what's the
things can be true at
philosophy
the same
side that
time.
you believe in?
Okay, so our thing is we're trying to push humanity forward. I'm not gonna get into it detail. Well, that's just the basic synopsis of it.
So you're not gonna give me no understanding? You gonna leave me out here hanging?
It's hard for me to give you understanding because I don't have to go into a whole soliloquy or diatribe about what I believe in, and I have to branch it off
Give me the
into
cliff
this,
notes.
and
Give me
that.
the elevator pitch.
You say what?
Give me the cliff notes. Give me the elevator pitch.
I just gave the clip note. Our goal is to advance humanity
Who is
without the
out?
interference
Okay,
of
do
a
you have
belief.
a group of people that you meet with on a regular basis?
You said, do I have people that I meet with?
Yeah, some people that you know that you meet with that y'all trying to advance humanity.
I feel like if I ask this question, it's gonna be a trap ass question.
Why is it got to be a trap? It's just a question.
Yes, I meet with other people at the temple. Yes.
At what temple?
See, I knew he was good. I knew he was going there, nigga. I knew you was gonna focus on that word, nigga. I knew it. Hey, you sure you're not a lawyer too, bro? You sure you ain't passed the bar, bro?
No, bro. Listen, bro. You know, I appreciate you. I rock with you, bro. I'm just having some fun on a Friday.
Anton
It's
coming
good.
back on the cross examination, like, wait a minute, you just said. But when I was telling you earlier about my mindset, so I got friends who ask me this all the time that grew up with me because I grew up Baptist, and I tell them, I said, look, if I'm wrong about what I believe, and then come to the time of judgment, I will gladly sit in hell with drawers on and gasoline. I have no
I
problem with
think
that.
you think that. I don't think you know. I don't see. Listen, everybody think that they know until they got to actually deal with whatever it is that's in front of them. Everybody
But
tough. Is prisoners that's
my
tough
mom,
until they get into jail. Is people that is women that want to be single until they husband divorce them. And it's motherfuckers that's gonna be burning in hell that think that they tough until they get there.
but it's easy for me. My
I
mom
believe that
always raised
everybody think that they tough until they actually got to face that shit.
it has nothing to do about tough. My parents raised me to be firm in what I believe in. So if I believe in it and it's wrong, I just accept the consequence. I'm not gonna make no excuse for it.
I
It
believe
is
that
what it is.
they gonna have to answer for the things that they did too. I don't give a fuck if who
Because
taught you that.
because like
Everybody on this earth is going to have to answer for whatever the fuck that they did on this earth. I believe
okay,
that.
that's fine. And let's say I believe that too. I'm not out here being a wicked person, so I don't have to worry about that. I'm not out here stealing from nobody, I ain't killing nobody. I'm a deviant in certain aspects, but I'm not gonna get into that. But outside of that, it's not a really big thing.
You think we just gonna
I don't
skip
have to
over
get
that
into
last?
that.
Wait. We gonna skip over that last part?
What'd you say?
We gonna skip over that last part?
It's no need to get into I don't pillow talk, so it's no need to get into that.
You
But
you
outside of
you
that,
fucking brought it up. How you gonna bring something up and then ask me not to ask for the context? I didn't tell you to bring it up. You brought it up, and then now you want me to skip over it like I didn't hear that shit.
yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's a glitch in the Matrix, like Tate said. Maybe you heard something that wasn't heard. I don't know.
No, I
The
heard you,
Matrix is
motherfucker.
glitching.
I heard you, nigga. But listen, bro, you know I rock with you. I appreciate you for being a good sport, man. We just having some fun on a Friday.
Before I go, the best way I can articulate the conversation that we were on originally. If you go watch the Amazing Lucas video about this Larry Aaron interview, that's the best way that I can.
Who?
The Amazing Lucas.
Who? Who the fuck is that?
He's another YouTuber with.
Oh, he's a YouTuber. He's a YouTuber. I'm like, I thought you was talking about. You ever seen it? Like I think what was it called? The something Mr. Fox, the Amazing Mr. Fox, or something like that.
Nah.
You ain't never seen that movie? It was called It was one of my favorite cartoons. It was a movie though.
I mean, I don't know if he's in your network because we all be on Angry Man channel and How To channel, so I'm familiar with everybody out there, Israel and all them. So we're
I know Angry Man and
all in the
Israel. I
same.
know them too.
Yeah,
I ain't never heard of no. I ain't never heard of a guy named, what was his name again?
The Amazing Lucas.
Yeah, I've never heard of him, but I mean, he probably a decent YouTuber. Who knows? I don't know him though. So
yeah, I'm just saying that's the best way that I can articulate this because he did a
he
better job
believed
than I
like
could.
you.
Oh hell no, he nobody believes like me, bro. I told you I'm an anomaly. You can't stick me out there like that, bro.
Oh, okay, I got you. The people in the chat is saying that he brain dead. Yeah, it's called The Fantastic Mr. Fox. That's the name of the movie. Fantastic Mr. Fox. That movie is good.
Who's brain dead? You talking about Lucas?
I said the people in the chat is saying that he's brain dead. They said that he batshit crazy and he brain dead.
I don't understand that. I don't understand get the brain dead. They
I
probably
don't
just
know.
mad
I'm
because
just going by what it is that I'm reading in the chat.
They probably just mad because he's not in the conservative echo chamber no more, and that pisses a lot of people off.
I don't know
he was
anything
a
about
heavy
him.
conservative, bro.
I can't have an opinion because I've never heard of him.
Okay.
Hey man, don't be getting your car picked up by the cement truck or nothing, no shit like that. What the fuck is going on?
Oh, my stuff paid off for, bro.
The cement truck ain't got nothing to do with the repo man. I ain't say the repo man.
Oh, okay. I say I ain't got to worry about the repo, man. I stuff paid
All right,
off.
big dog. I'm gonna holler at you, bro. Thanks, man. Thanks for pulling up, bro.
All right. All right.
All right, let me see what's happening. Damn. I done been on here for 2 hours and 35 minutes. I got work to do out here in these streets. Mr. Hallel took up all of y'all time today. All right? Mr. Hallel took up all of y'all time. So y'all gonna have to catch me on Fight Club tonight. Y'all gonna have to catch me on Fight Club tonight. Let me read some of these super chats. I want to make sure I acknowledge the people. Marcus X says, AD, this show. Love this show and how dope you are. I appreciate you. Thank you, my friend. Mr. Hallel had came in. He said he is a clown and lied and used flawed conservative narrative. Example, this mystical absence father talking point that's been debunked over and over by the CDC data. Shout out to Mr. Hallel that pulled up on us. Let me give a shout out to Nicholas Smith. Nikolai Smith 312. I appreciate you. Nico here. I had the same experience that you were speaking on in Japan, Kyoto. I'm looking for elementary to high school students that are interested in cybersecurity. I have access to 2 million resources and training set for disadvantaged communities. Shout out to Nicholas Smith. Hey, Nick, let me know. Put it in the chat. Hey, everybody, when Nick put it in the chat, the way for people to be able to communicate with him and get in touch with him, make sure y'all highlight that in the chat. Nick, thank you, my friend. I appreciate you. And make sure y'all tap in with Nicholas Smith, 312. I appreciate you, big dog. Iceberg Slim says Larry Elder is an Africoon. Interesting. I have to disagree with you, but respect to you for the 2-ball. Derek's Life Events said this needs its own show. He spanked him that hard, had him silent when he went in on the God. Only thing he didn't do was drop the mic. Shout out to you, Derek's Life Events. I appreciate you for the 20-ball. Mr. Hallel says, if you think Larry Elder cooked, you're part of the circus. Shout out to you. Aaron says, why is she on screen looking like Zordon from the... Y'all out of control. Mr. Hillel says that wasn't for you, but that was for the guy above me. Shout out to you. Got a few more. Marcus X says, I wanted Larry Elder, the governor of Cali. We need it. Shout out to you. I agree with that. Maybe Cali wouldn't be so messed up. Marriage, Politics, and Sports says that Breakfast Club woman is a clown. She actually thinks she's making a point. She is the champion of Pyrrhic victories. Shout out to you. I appreciate you, Marriage, Politics, and Sports. Actually, let me give you the Glock real quick. Thank you, my friend. Chris says, now that makes 2 hoodies that I need and 3XL, sir. Y'all like my hoodie, my bunny rabbit? Shout out to my hoodie, my bunny rabbit hoodie. Shout out to that. Mr. Hillel says, you can disagree. You can disagree based on the data and context. Stop the cap. Stop the cap. Trucking Blueprint with the 20 ball. Jesus. Y'all out here making it rain like I'm in a strip club. Says, we got to stop making excuses and blaming white people for everything. I show and prove as an ex-felon that you can become successful, but you can't keep using the same rhetoric. It's damaging to our psyche as a people. I appreciate you, Trucking Blueprint, and I agree with you 100%. Lucid Experiences in the building says he didn't check Joe Biden, no. That's a fact. Mr. Hillel says, where's the link? Oh, yeah, you cammed up. Shout out to you for camming up and being a good sport about that, too. Iceberg Slim is in the building, says the black community has and continues to be sabotaged on every level. Those other communities that Larry mentioned have been allowed to thrive. Do I need to open up the chat for y'all to cam up some more? All right, I got time today. Let me read the super chats and then we're going to get there. Gerald Watson. Oh, let me give you that. Gerald Watson says Larry Elder did cook. It just hits bad or negatively with blacks when he's speaking to a majority of the white audience. Message is the truth, though, and I agree with you 100%. Shout out to you. Thank you, my friend. Brock says, awesome Pass Love offering. Awesome show as always. Greatest morning show ever. Thank you for everything. No, thank you. Because it's the people that make me. It's not me. It's you. Without you, there is no me. And so I appreciate you. We Call BS says there's a difference in pressing versus her being condescending and disrespectful. I agree 100% with that. Devontae is in the building. Devontae says, dude, don't get it. I'm living proof. I grew up in a 2-parent home. My dad was deployed for the majority of my high school and middle school. I absolutely acted out and behaved in ways I wouldn't have had he been there. Shout out to Devontae for being an example and for camming up and showing us what a real man looks like. Dewan Alford says, afternoon, Anton, and shout out to Al Sharpton. Al Sharpton. Thank you, my friend, for holding me down. Silhouette says, this dude listens with his feelings, which is why he don't like what Larry Elder said. Greek Lucifer is a perpetual victimhood, is a perpetual victim, which is why he, oh my Jesus. Come on, y'all. He cammed up. Y'all got to give him some props for camming up at least, right? William Lucian says he was raised by a single mother. I guarantee you. You catching it, Mr. Hillel. You catching it today. J Hub says black men stop making excuses. Agreed. Shout out to you. Let me give you that. I appreciate you. The Objective Hustler says keep on cooking, brother. Just checking for my weekly donation. Mailed you my book. Enjoy your trip. Thank you for your book, The Objective Hustler. I appreciate you. Let me get on. Brock is in the building. Says Anton, you are having too much fun. Yeah, it was a fun conversation. I love having fun. It's more fun in person. Make sure y'all tap into the Patreon. Class E Beats is in the building. Shout out to Class E. Said that brother needs the Lord, a good barber, and some Teach Hanley ASAPly. 30% off your first order plus a free gift. ASAPly. Shout out to you. I appreciate you for that. Thank you, my friend. Let's see. We Call BS is in the building. Says how he like that pressure now. How that pressure feeling? They talking to you, Mr. Hillel. They talking to you, Mr. Hillel. Enos Luby says, that was a good back and forth. 2 intelligent black men, both with very good talking points. Best back and forth I've seen in a while. Thank you to my friends across the pond. I appreciate you for that. Chris Winsett says, God has been testing this man. I pray he gives the church another one. Another chance. Another chance. Shout out to you. Avgree Avenue GRE is in the building. Says, would you consider $300 monthly profit from a rental property too low of an investment? No. How much did you have to invest in it in order to get that return? What was the return on it, right? If it's cash flowing, then I think it's beautiful because it's an asset that's going to continue to appreciate over time. You can hide some money. If you ever sell it, you can 1031 it and you can move it into a better property. I absolutely would think that that profit is good. I think a lot of times we don't take into consideration what the true cost of doing business is, but I think that that's a phenomenal profit. I don't have any problem with that. That sounds like an awesome thing. Terrell Denmark is in the building. Says, I think you changed that dude's life. Well, listen, our goal is not to necessarily force anybody to see it our way. Our goal is to make sure that we add value into people's lives by having a conversation, right? Mr. Hillel came back and he said, I got something for you. He said, my parents been married for 33 years. 33 years in the building. Shout out to Mr. Hillel. Lady Life Coach. Shout out to the Lady Life Coach, looking pretty as ever. Says, hey, Anton, people talk about going to hell like it's light work. Facts. There's a church untouched in Lahaina. God is real. Shout out to that. Yeah, man. Let me get the Scepter of Judah up here. I know the Scepter of Judah. I got to get his thoughts before I get up out of here. Let me get the Scepter of Judah in the building. What up, Scepter?
What's going on, brother?
There you go. There you go. I carry you now. What's happening, big dog?
Hold on.
You said what now?
I said I needed to mute YouTube on the other side. What's going on, brother?
Chilling, my friend. What's your thoughts?
For the last brother that you talked with, there was a lot to unpack with that. I like how you handled that conversation.
Appreciate it, big dog.
I've been following Larry Elder for a long time, and I actually had got the chance to be on like Fox Online with something that Larry Elder was on for a while back, and so that is how I kind of got into Larry Elder.
What do you think about him?
He basically changed my thinking. Because
Mr. Hello said he ain't changing his thinking, that's for sure.
Well, you have to be open-minded. And I think the Breakfast Club, in my opinion, Charlemagne the God is what many people in the know would call him as a Boule member. All right. And Boule Negroes are also a Boule Negro is basically employed by top echelon Caucasians, or we would call the Jewish community. Okay. So notice that everything on the Breakfast Club makes black people a victim, blames white people for everything, yet the show is ran by white people.
That makes sense.
So you don't basically have your own talking points. You're given manufactured talking points to create victimhood. All of the morning shows from Ricky Smiley, Breakfast Club, Doug Banks in the morning, Steve Harvey, all of those are morning programming shows to so-called black people. And the reason why I say so-called black people is because the color black is a corporate designation.
Correct. Okay? I agree with that.
So we're a corporate designation, and we were once a nationality of people. Okay. And that's a different conversation to get into. But the gentleman said that he was a Luciferian. And so like Marxism,
well, to be honest, he said that he more closely identified with Lucifer, but he actually don't believe in anything because he's an atheist.
Right. But he did mention that he was a Luciferian, though. And so
I mean, he probably did. I don't know. I'm a C. You know me. I'm a C student. I don't be remembering half the stuff that I be hearing.
Yeah,
I zero in on one thing that I hear, and then I go after that shit.
Yeah, so Luciferianism was started by Anton LaVey, who started the Church of Satan, and so Marxism,
I heard about him before. Go ahead, I'm listening.
So Marxism,
somebody tried to tie my name in with that shit before. I was like, oh yeah.
But it's basically like a softer form of Satanism, just like Marxism is a softer form of communism. But and the other issue, well, I won't say issue, but I think that the brother would be more he would benefit from someone who knows a little bit more about the Bible, because a lot of us think we know the Bible and we truly don't. Like,
Mm-hmm.
you know, many people think Adam and Eve walked around the Garden of Eden naked, and they didn't.
Mm.
You know, so that's a big, huge misconception of the scripture. But to go on to the main point about Larry Elder and the Breakfast Club, look, I think he totally killed it in a great way. The problem with our people is that we have been such victims for so long. We have been programmed or indoctrinated to be victims for so long that when individuals tend to have a mindset like yourself and I, when the truth comes out, we're gonna always try to find someone else to blame for it, because because most of our people have been emotionally entrenched in what we've been indoctrinated in, and we can't let that go.
Mm.
And so to say, well, like, I don't blame my dad is a baby boomer, but there's I'm from Montgomery, by the way, so we made national news. But he went to a high school that was first integrated, and it was an all-white high school. His first day of school, a white student spat on him, and he fought from the corner of that street at the bus stop all the way to the front door.
Mm.
And so when he and I have conversations about things, I can't really blame him for the era that he grew up in or the way that he feels. I can't blame him for that. But our era, yourself and myself and you, you know, we grew up different. We're in the age of information. I'm 43.
Mm-hmm.
So when I look at things from a different perspective and I say, well, there is no systemic racism. People like that, because of the trauma that they went through in the past, I won't say they're stuck there, but they have not been able to let go or cope with it. And so when their children say, well, how do you not see things the way that I see it? There is racism, and the Democrats are going to fix it. And then you ask them, they say, well, okay, Pop, you've been voting this way for so long. All right, you're a man that you have Republican values, but you vote against your own interests every election cycle with the same people that you blame
Correct.
for your problems, shortcomings. Make that make sense? Well, we got to stomp out racism. So my thing is, either you want to be equal with your oppressors, or you want to dominate them.
Mm-mm.
You think that the Montgomery, fight on the riverboat front is us, breaking the chains of racism because black people were sold there, or that's getting the white man's attention to make us equals? Either we want a hug, or either we want to get ahead in life. Which one do you want?
Yeah.
And so when Larry Elder went on to there, I don't think that, to a degree, they realized what they signed up for, because everywhere that man goes, he is prepared as hell.
Yeah, I think that Larry Elder was. Larry Elder is. She said that she knows him, that she researched him. I think that she thinks that she's so intelligent. I think that she really thinks that she's the smartest and the brightest crayon in the box. That she think that she cooked. I honestly believe that she think that she be cooking. That Tesla chick.
She, to me, is what media is pushing today. When you look at ESPN and Malika Andrews, there's this feminist woman that has some look to her, because if you look at her Instagram,
She
some of
don't
the
look
stuff
like she don't look like nothing to me. She look like a regular black chick.
right.
Now
But
Malika Andrews look a little different, right? That's something you can't take away from Malika Andrews, but the
she's quite
Tesla
the look.
chick, and this ain't no shade to her because I'm not talking about her looks or nothing like that, but she don't look like Malika Andrews. I mean, if we just want to be 100.
No, but I mean, to the individuals that's hiring, they may say, well, oh, she has this look that may that bring in, a certain type of people. And so for every detractor of certain media that we have, like, most guys say, well, Malika Andrews is this. And then there's somebody that will come along in the comment section, but she fine though.
Yeah, I agree with that. I agree with that part. Not with the
so,
other chick, but with Malika Andrews, maybe they can overlook it a little bit.
But just looking at what Teslin Figueroa has on in some of the media shows that she's been on her Instagram page, why would a person as professional as that wear stuff like that on set?
I agree.
So
I agree 100%.
So therefore, you're there for a specific reason.
Yeah. I agree. All right, man. Listen, I love you, man. I appreciate you, bro. Thank you for chopping it up with me for a little bit. You know, it's 3 a.m. here.
Yeah, look, I just came from outside cutting grass, man. So I just threw on a t-shirt.
Y'all 2 p.m. Eastern over there, man. Look, let me show you something, bro.
About 1 a.m. Well, 1 p.m. I'm sorry. Yeah, we
Look,
we
it is
sharp.
pitch black outside. It is 3 a.m. here.
Well, hey, man, you somewhere I'd like to be right now, and that's worldwide. So
yeah, it's dope. It is awesome here, though. I love it, bro. I love it in Japan. It's been one of the best experiences that I've ever had in my life.
Well, man, hey, I appreciate you for having me on. Make space for anybody else that want to get on. You know, so yeah, I got work.
Thank you, man.
I got
Pull up anytime, man. I appreciate you.
Appreciate you, man.
Thank you, bro.
All right.
That's what happened when you have these intelligent black men. I'm sorry, I can't do another person T because I have to focus. It's 3 a.m. here. I gotta have me and my bunny rabbit hoodie that I bought yesterday, and we gotta get some stuff together. We gotta take care of some business. Let me read some of the super chats, and then I'm gonna get up out of here. Let's see. Symbiose Creative says, I'm glad you had Mr. Hillel on. It reveals the Marxist mindset that people like the Breakfast Club hide behind black empowerment. Hillel thinks hell is bad. Try living in Marxist North Korea. They don't want that smoke. But you are right. I think that you are absolutely right. Thank you, Symbiose Creative. And that's a phenomenal name. I like that name. Mr. Hillel says, Anton LaVey started Satanism, not Luciferian. I don't even know the difference. I'm going to be honest with you, but thank you for the super chat. Thank you for camming up. Cliff says, come on, Anton. He said he going to the temple with the boys, the devil temple with the boys. Mr. Hillel, you rubbing people the wrong way out here in these streets. Listen, y'all. Thank y'all for making this show. Yes, I talked about the Mocha Fest. Island Girl Q. That good grief. Listen, I love you guys. I appreciate you. Thank you for continuing to rock with me. It has been an awesome show as usual. I am over here in Tokyo, Japan. The next time that you people hear from me on the Millionaire Morning Show, I am going to be shooting it from my office in Detroit, Michigan, back to the city and bringing back all of the cultural experiences that I've got here in Japan. And it's going to be awesome. Listen, I love you guys. I appreciate you. Thank you guys for continuing to rock with me. But I need you guys to do me one more favor before we get up out of here. First of all, you know this is your favorite show on earth. Secondly, you know that you were supposed to hit a like for the YouTube algorithm before you came in here. Third, shout out to the Mocha Fest. I was messing up Houston. Houston has become the new Sodom and Gomorrah. My girl Q is down there, though, so make sure that y'all, when we go back, right, and I say God, what if there's one woman that does the Monday night show that is absolutely awesome? What if I can save her? He gonna say, you know what, Anton, go ahead and go and get her and tell her don't turn back. Don't look back at Houston before I turn her into a pillar of salt. All right, here we go. We mixing up scriptures, but it's okay. Listen, I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. Make sure y'all share this with your family and friends. We don't want to be rich by ourselves. If you're not a part of the Patreon, link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. And then more importantly, make sure you get that Teach Hanley 30% off your first order plus a free gift. I love you guys. I appreciate you. I'm going to holler at y'all later. See you on Fight Club tonight. Peace.